At Kroger, we believe it takes the right team to bring you the freshest produce. That's why we partner with farmers who grow only the best. And that level of teamwork means better, fresher options time and time again. Working with farmers is what it takes to be fresh for everyone. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
It's the big $10 sale, so mix and match and get 2, 3, 4, 5, or even 10 for $10 with your card. So many great deals. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Underdog Fantasy is the fastest growing fantasy app and easiest place to play fantasy sports. Just jump on UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app, draft your team, and that's it. And if drafts aren't your thing, they also have a pick'em game where you can win 20 times your money in a single night. Use promo code RADIO, and Underdog will double your first deposit when you sign up with up to $100 in bonus cash. Deposit $100, get $100 free. That's promo code RADIO. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. Here we have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
I'm a lot better than the New Jersey Nets, and I call them the New Jersey Nets and don't care if they move to Brooklyn because neither do the people in Brooklyn. So, yeah, I'm chilling. I'm ready to get to it. How are you, James?
I don't know where to start.
Okay.
Actually, no. I know where to start.
Let's do some housekeeping first.
Let's go. All right. So here we're going to go. Are we going to talk about, at what point do we talk about the series and then get to the three between Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons? What order would you like those four to go in? Okay,
we're going to save Ben Simmons for last because he got to feel it.
Okay, so if that's how you going, then we're going to go with the series first.
Yeah. But before we do that, so shout everyone that is hearing this in podcast form. If you guys join us on the streams, you do have the ability to subscribe to the live streams now, which is pretty cool. Shouts out to a couple of our listeners that had actually informed me of an extra step I had to take to make that possible. So I guess that works in conjunction with the bits that we've been talking about, as well as if you're on the live stream, you can hit myself on the Cash App. You can hit James on the PayPal, however you want to do that to support the show. But yeah, that's pretty much all. But there is a pack that needs to be fired up at this point, James. And there was a broom that came out as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I gotta say, I saw game one of this series in Boston, and Kyrie went just nuclear in the fourth quarter of that game, and the way that Tatum, they got that one stop by trapping Kyrie late, and then Kyrie made a mistake, and then ran out the clock, shot clock ran down. He threw it up top to Durant, and either Tatum or Jaylen Brown was all over him. He had to throw up a prayer. It bounced off. They decided not to call a timeout. Came up the floor. Ball ends up in Jaylen Brown drives it down the court. Ends up dishing out on the corner or free throw line and sending it out to Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, he really wanted to shoot that fucking ball with all his heart, but people were running out at him at full force, and he held it last second. And luckily, Jason Tatum was trailing the play, and he kept cutting, And as Marcus Smart got into the paint, he saw him, and then he dumped it off to Tatum. Kyrie didn't see, kind of got blindsided by Tatum appearing so late. There's only so much he could do. Tatum has the presence of mind to make the spin move and then lay it in game time. And I'm like, this was a great fucking game. This series is going to go down to the wire. These crowds going to be fantastic. And then...
And this, look, we had, Kyrie saluting people from behind with the middle fingers.
That's what made it so awesome, was the fact that he was giving it back to the crowd while he was giving them fucking work. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. And then, all these games, except for the last one, were all relatively, these games were like no one got blown out, right? Mm-hmm. Like, or the Nets would have the lead and they would lose the lead, or like the game would be close, but like the games weren't as close as the scores indicated, because it'd be like, damn, like the games 3 and 4, they're both like, man, these games are both like within 10 points, but it's like you never at any point felt like the Celtics were going to, ever get stopped enough for the Nets Nets were never getting enough stops to where they could actually make it a game. It was just like, after that point, they were just basically jacking up shots between them, and they just had to be going in on both sides until like the last 3 minutes of the games ended in the games 3 and 4. But it was just shocking to see, for me, like, Kevin Durant look like that. I've never seen him play that bad. In games 2 and 3 in particular, like, obviously he balled in game 4, but like the series is already over. That was weird. Kyrie was really quiet after game 1. Really, really quiet. I think he averaged like 16 points the last 3 games of the series. And, just watching the series, looking back over, is like, we should have known this. Like, not only do we know the Nets were going to play defense and weren't going to rebound because they don't have enough bigs or whatever, quality bigs. Like, the same thing that happened to the Nets the last couple years after Kyrie left with Kemba Walker, it got exposed that, like, they don't have one Kemba Walker, they have like 3 of them. Like, having small, like, we've seen this from years, like teams like the Clippers, when they had Chris Paul and JJ Redick starting backcourt. Like, when you have a small backcourt, you're going to get fucking pounded by bigger wings. And when you have Marcus Smart, who's a shooting guard playing power forward, Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and they're, all of them are, that's like a 6'3", 6'4", and then and the other 2 are 6'7"-ish, 6'8"-ish. Like, it was a long day at the office, and like, weirdly watching Durant get guarded by Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, it reminded me almost of like 2007 Dirk being guarded by Steven Jackson, and like Matt Barnes was like, they're obviously don't have the length to challenge his shot most shots, but like they're almost like pushing him off the spot and getting underneath him in a way that like we haven't really seen happen to him since like the Memphis series when Tony Allen was putting him in jail in 2014 at times. Yeah. So it wasn't going to be as simple for him, and it will not be as simple as him to just start lifting weights now. Like, he's gone 15 years without lifting weights. As Bryan Danielson once said, there's not enough weights he can lift over a summer to build himself back up and build that wanting to commit to the weight room. So like, that stuff is gonna like, as he ages, it's gonna be like, what essentially gets him out of here. Right. And my question is, how much is that people actually saying this? How much is this my crazy cousin Alex saying that nonsense? Because he's the only person I've heard mention that.
That's just for him.
Yeah, okay. Because it's like, nah, man. This, like, and that's the thing, looking up. You look up, and in a flash, we're in year 15, or we just saw year 15 of Kevin Durant. In a flash.
Right.
Like, Kyrie, what, year 12?
Right.
Yeah. So, It was just weird to see, like, the Kyrie thing. I can get it at certain points. Like,
we don't know if he's on this planet at times, so like we don't know where his head's at a given day.
Yeah. Plus the fasting thing, which is like this new element, which is like, when did this become a thing? Because this was never a thing with him ever before. It's like, oh, so he changed religions. Well, I'm not going to get into that right now, but like, just
been a long time since he played in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, he played a little bit last year and he got hurt and he ended up missing, the rest of that. He missed as they went deeper got to the second round or whatever else. But it was just really weird to see, like, two dudes like Kyrie and Durant both just kind of get like worn down / didn't want it in a way. Cause I don't think it's the end of the world. I think at this point, like outside of Michael Jordan, like pretty much every superstar like of Kevin Durant ilk has like one bad series or one series is like this where he's like, yo, this person was not the person that he's been, outside of the rest of his career except for this one. So literally Jordan's like the only one. Like it's fucking ridiculous. But like literally Jordan's the only one. But yeah. So just seeing Jason Tatum, like, I mean, I kind of thought Jaylen Brown. I thought there was more to Jaylen Brown just being a person that might make an All-Star game or two, like in the bubble in 2020 when like they're the Heat were beating them down. Jason Tatum he's only getting bad shots. He's only getting a bad diet of shots. The only person that can get to the hoop is Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown's taking upon himself to get into the paint and create from there. And I was like, this is something that he was not capable of doing last year, the year before, and all that kind of stuff, right? So I was like, okay, this was going to be an all-star. Tatum, me and you were like, Tatum's going to be a multiple-time all-star. We saw that shit by his rookie year. We were like, oh yeah, this is going to be a multiple all-star. Now, did I think he was going to be like, a potential first-team All-NBA guy going in the future? I didn't necessarily think that, but that looks like that's on the table for him now.
Yeah, it was almost like a real life changing of the guard or real time changing of the guard. I felt good about the Celtics before the series. And what it is looking like right now across all the series is and over the league, like it's like these teams that are these microwave teams are getting exposed thinking it's a game when they're like, oh, we can just get the 7th seed and then we'll just try to roll in there. And this has been true the last couple of years. We'll just try to roll in there as a 7th seed and then try to take down these teams that are gelling, that are growing together, that are like, the Celtics have been together quietly for 5 years now. And it's like, of course they were going to beat these guys that were barely playing together, that I don't know if they played 20 games together this season.
I think Kyrie and Durant played like 21 games together all year.
Like,
you think about like Kyrie didn't even play 30 games this year. He scored like things like 26, some shit like that.
Like it's teams like the Bucks, like the Suns that have just kind of added Chris Paul to this well-tuned, well-built machine. Like, and it's like these teams that are like taken, like they're basically we're coming out of last decade into a new one, and they have completely. Like them being together, like and all that is proven to be more valuable than these microwave teams that are just kind of hoping to come together and accomplish something rather than the people that have been building and putting it all together. Like we can take a look at like the Raptors have a foundation in place and they look like they could shock the Sixers right now. The Sixers kind of have like one foot in both philosophies, I feel like. But
well, I think they're obviously they have Embiid, but like don't get me wrong, like they still they still that core they had when they had Seth Curry still, and they traded him to get Harden and all that. Like they took a chunk of what their roster was at the beginning of the year to get that, and like Harden, even before the season or the postseason started, like Harden did not look like, outside like the first 2 weeks in Philly, he did not look like the James Harden we had saw last year in from 2012 to 2021, and like that's the shit we talk about when people were always on him about like, bro, forget like the playoff chokes or whatever else. It's like, bro, oh my god.
Add Minnesota to teams that are being built.
Bro,
in addition, of course, to the Warriors.
Bro, John Morant just caught this shit back below his waist to dunk on somebody.
Please tell me it was Karl Anthony Towns.
No, it was Malik Beasley he dunked on.
Okay. I wish it was Karl Anthony Towns, but
holy shit.
But Memphis, another team that like these teams are being well built through the draft and they're scouting and developing guys, and it's like,
hey man, no, hold on, man. Nike, Adidas, Jordan, whoever, New Balance, Under Armour. I don't know who has these shoe deals. Who has
Young?
Hey man, you stupid. Look, I'm sorry. Devin Booker and John Morant need their fucking shoes. I'm sorry. They need fucking shoes. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care about your whole thing about there's only 5 players in the league that can have their own central line. Bullshit. If they can do shit like that, they need their fucking shoes.
Uh-oh.
Oh my, bro, pull up on Twitter, bro.
I gotta pull it up on Twitter.
Oh my god, it's an all-time dunk. It's an all-time dunk. It's an all-time dunk, especially because it's in the playoffs. Like, it's basically like the guard version of T-Mac dunking.
Oh my god!
Yes, it's like the guard version of T-Mac.
2 hands on it,
bruh. It's like the guard version of T-Mac dunking on Sean Bradley.
Oh, that's D'Angelo Russell.
No, wait. It'll pull up. You'll pull up when you see John Morant dunk on this dude.
Oh, that's an old one. My fault.
Right.
Hold on. And that one was even insane. Hold on. A lot of people saying best dunk I've ever seen. Crazy dunk.
Bro, it's an all-time dunk. It's an all-time dunk.
Okay, I got it. Good fucking God.
He detonated on that dude, bro. He detonated on this man. He exploded on that man.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never. Whoever that is, Malik Beasley, you need to leave the league. Like, you gotta go. You gotta sit out the rest of the season. Ask Ben Simmons how to do it.
All right, so you were talking about continuity with NBA teams.
Yes, and it's proven. It's feel like it's going back to the old way a little bit, and you know I'm a big fan of it, especially like last year with like the Bucks and like what they were doing, and then with the Suns even doing like with Chris Paul. I feel like I feel like that's still like a natural progression of their team.
It is because it's you build your team, you get close, you trade for one final piece to try to get you over the top. Like the same thing the Bucks did with Drew Holiday. Like
right.
I don't like. It's not like. It's not like we're going to, we have nothing, or we may have one piece, and we are just going to then turn over the entire roster over to,
right.
all max level players, and then a bunch of replacement level players along the way.
And this was the big problem with the Nets. And then both of us are familiar with that book that came out. I've never in my life seen an organization bend over backwards to please a set of players and let this set of players. And then we hear Kyrie talking about he looks forward to running the team with Joe and Sean. I'm like, in what fucking reality? Is he coming from? He is so completely on another planet. It may be flat, who knows? But it's what makes you think that you, of all people, who can barely show up as it is when you're on the court in the playoffs, and then who knows if you're even going to make it to the court based off of any various, outside of the court things. I feel like this is a major L for the player empowerment stuff, and it shows the value of organizations. These people have jobs for a reason. They have the job of a coach for a reason, a job of a general manager for a reason. Trying to circumvent the process to have everything catered for you is blown up in the Nets' face in a way that I've never seen it before. Now the Lakers are pretty bad right now.
But they want a fucking title.
We got a title out of it, and it's gone to hell since. But
agreed.
But here, they couldn't even get out of round. They have won one playoff series in 3 years.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it is bruh.
This is a way bigger failure than the 2004 Lakers. Eons worse.
Yeah. The thing that kills me, or not kills me, but the thing that's just surprising to me is just last year, they smoked the Celtics in 5 games. Smoked them. When the way they beat them last year, because they still had Kyrie before Kyrie, had the injury, and we were like, yo, what? We we saw them 3 together finally. We were like, yo, what the fuck is this? What are we going to do? Offensively, there's no answer for this. And even then, they still almost made the final, or made the East Conference Finals. If Durant's foot is a shoe size shorter, they still would have made the finals and may have won the title. And to go from that to this is how did these, obviously, they had a team that had talent with Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert and Jared Allen. And then they traded all these pieces away to then, they traded Allen in particular to get James Harden. They didn't want to start, and then you had like the players telling Chucky Atkins, don't start Jared Allen. We want to start DeAndre Jordan, even though he's had a fork out stuck in his back since what? The
players are bad scouts.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's the same reason why, like, the GM Doc Rivers shit didn't work. It was like, you picked the people that were good when you played, or the last people you remember were good, and, like, they're not good anymore. And you still think because they look the same, they're still good. And, like, and the thing that, like, gets me is, with this particular team, is, like, if you want to, there are a few people in the league that I'd be like, look, if this is my franchise, I think with the average franchise, I feel like this person could help. I would want to seek a partnership with this player, or whatever else. It would be like LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. The problem is, it's not just Kevin Durant. It's Kevin Durant plus his homeboy and like, this is a thing.
And Kyrie's the leader.
Right. And that's where I was getting at. Like,
I'm sorry, Kevin Durant. How many times have we heard Kevin Durant talk about all I want to do is hoop? All I care about is playing the game. And I'm sorry, bro. That's not the job. Like, the job is more than just hoop. The job is leadership. The job is like going and
answering the tough questions, being able to like own up to some shit maybe you're not comfortable with and stepping out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Like, if all you want to do is ball, I'm sorry, that's not good enough. Like, and that's the thing where we're not going to give LeBron too much credit on this, but like when LeBron was trying to get Tyronn Lue in there to coach, it was because like there would have been at least one person in the building that would have been able to stand LeBron and be like, no, that's bullshit. Fuck that. We're not doing that. Because LeBron has that, because Ty Lue has had that track record of telling LeBron no, or you're not doing enough. So like, at least he had the self-awareness to be like, maybe there might be times where I will fuck, but I need somebody to hold me accountable when need be, as opposed to just look the other way because I'm LeBron James. Kevin Durant doesn't have that.
They were talking about they don't need a coach, and damn, it looked like they didn't have
collaborative effort.
one.
Remember that? Collaborative effort.
Yeah, Kevin Durant, I couldn't imagine leaving the Golden State Warriors for Kyrie Irving, essentially. Just one of the most baffling, dumbest decisions in the history of the league, in the history of any league. Then we got Kyrie. We talked about him, and he's got contract, concerns and stuff going forward. His resume starts to look shakier. Every year we get past 2016, it looks like. And then like you add up like the amount of games that he's played for a lot of his seasons and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, like you're on the court for like actually how much of the available games in your career?
I think he's only played like the equivalent of 60 games in a season like 4 times ever.
Yeah, that's insane. That's like, and it's not necessarily
obviously a lot of it's like stupid injuries and knick-knack stuff, whatever else. And like, don't get me wrong, like a lot of that is injury, but some of the stuff is like the last 2 years or 3 years or 3 seasons, because 3 seasons in 2 years has been like shit that has like, bro, you're not everybody can not show up to work for shit like this. And then
I've saved the best for last. Ben Simmons, bring your ass to the stage. I saw a man who has quit on his college, his country, and now his team, multiple teams, because I don't know why. Because he's mentally fragile. He's a loser. He's a bum. He's weak.
Last year, was that like June when they got eliminated last year? Because, the season was,
Yeah.
I think it was June last year. We fucking tuned him up. And I was like, I still giving this dude the benefit of the doubt, and I just like, nah, he can't play in Philly ever again. Like I was so upset for Embiid, how much I like Embiid as a player in his game, and what it took for him to get from Kansas and losing the weight and the back injury, and like a lot of people thought he wasn't even gonna be able to play this many games, let alone this, and didn't do this, and to be like left, stuck with this fucking guy that has no heart.
No.
And somehow I have even less respect for him now, a year later. He ain't, like,
look,
all of this stuff.
Man didn't play and his value went down. Unbelievable.
Yeah, like he, look, there is some bail I'm willing to shoot him on the mental health stuff, but I'm going to use the Bomani Jones line. I am not far enough in my journey to absolve him of everything that is going on. Like, at some point, you have to play basketball. Like, people have talked about the ridiculous not ridiculous, like the colorful outfits he's been wearing, whatever else, that are attention getting because the whole backdrop of, you know, the Brooklyn crowd and the Brooklyn sweatsuits are all black. And he's out here looking like he out here dressing like Young Dro with all flip flop colors and whatever else. I don't really care. Like, wherever you wear it, that doesn't bother me. I don't care. Apparently, by some people, I would say chill out, but it is something to be said about, like,
look, it wasn't like this man was showing up to the game dressed like Walt Frazier or something.
Yeah. It's something to be said about, like, yes, the organization not to put him in that position, they should have just ruled him out, and then if he was ready to play, they could have just changed that ruling. There's no rule against that. However, like, Ben Simmons was talking and saying, like, I'm ready to go, this, that, and the third, and then, like, when the chips are down, and they need a big defender, a big wing defender, instead of all these small fucking guys, except for Kevin Durant, oh, my back. You're back again. Like,
this phantom back injury that's come up out of nowhere.
This back injury that never ever pulled, that never showed up at any point until after he left that one practice when he was getting fined money to start showing up to Sixers camp. Then he showed up, and then he also has a back injury, and then, like, it hasn't been resolved since then, but now he's ready, but now he's not, and, like, see you in October next year, or see you in October in a couple seasons, like, or seasons of the year. I'm just like, hey man, like, it'd be one thing for me if, like, people still, you know, saying they think this is a legitimate injury, but the reporting on this is that nobody fucking believes him. He's the boy who cried wolf. He has zero credibility in these streets. Face card ain't worth a damn. And, like, if everybody else feels this way, then I gotta say, like, the people that are around this are reporting this, am I supposed to believe him?
This is a heartless quitter who's afraid to play offense on the basketball court. Like, I don't get it. A couple comments. Dylan says Ben Simmons is the quitter that motherfuckers thought CM Punk was for years. Crudler says Ben Simmons was selling the back like Matt Jackson.
Nah, Matt Jackson sells the back better than him still. That's like, you could be out halfway believing that Matt Jackson's back was fucked up. How bad was his back fucked up for? He was working Meltzer for like a year, 2 years.
He's worked it for like 3 years.
Well, at some point he realized he got worked. But, like, from basically like 2018 through 2019 or something like that, or maybe 2017, 2019, he was like, you know, I don't know, you know, his back. Like, he was, you know what? He was talking about Matt Jackson's back the way he's talking about Tanahashi and that biceps.
Yep.
Man, you just got to get it worked on. You gotta
take time off. I don't know.
Can't just thug it on. You can't just thug it out like this. You can't just do it. And shut up. He's working you. But Ben Simmons, like a man who embarrassed the people from his country. He's just, I've never had less respect for a professional athlete than I do for Ben Simmons. It's like, you played in Philadelphia for 6 or 7 years. You are the reverse Allen Iverson. You are someone that does not wear your heart on your sleeve. You are someone that the teammates cannot trust under any circumstances. You can't deal with an ounce of criticism. You have the thinnest skin I've ever seen. Bro, do you remember those quotes that came out about, like, out of his camp before the season started, when we were at the impasse about, like, the money and whether or not he was going to show up? And he was talking about how he was still upset about, like, the after he got eliminated, what Embiid and Doc Rivers said. And all Doc Rivers said was, he was asked the question of, do you think that Ben Simmons could be the point guard of a championship team? And his answer was, I don't know right now. And then Embiid said, like, you know, I think the turning point in the game was when our guy decided not to dunk a basketball. Like, That's not criticism, or that's not overly harsh criticism. Like, what is
soft,
like, to see? Yeah, soft. And to see what like Marcus Smart said about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum earlier in this year about how like they're not setting guys up to facilitate this at a third. And then Marcus Smart said, you know what, we don't have a facilitator since we did the trade to get rid of Kemba Walker. I'm going to put it upon myself to basically become the de facto point guard for this team. And he's the one that brings the ball up. He's the one that's it's a shared thing between those three with the ball up top. And it's like, do you see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown like just like, nah, get me out of here? No. They're like, okay, I gotta criticize. I'll say this. Think of the stuff that Kyrie as a shoot first point guard has had to hear about him not being able to facilitate and set up stuff or whatever else. Think of, like, can you imagine Ben Simmons walking into Philly in the way that Kyrie just walked into Boston and gave him, 39? No.
Look, and they were teammates. These were the two people that Kevin Durant had to depend on, which makes it just even funnier. Where it's like, you go from this model of just this machine of consistency, back-breaking excellence over half a decade, and then literally for the unknown. Look, who knows that a global pandemic is going to come? Who knows that you have an anti-vaxxer, flat earth teammate who, has to now fast. Who knows that you're going to end up trading for James Harden, and then he's going to be looking at like Kyrie like, hey man, why are y'all letting this dude get away with this? And then he's going to be like, you know what, get me the fuck out of here. And then y'all essentially traded James Harden for Seth Curry and Andre Drummond.
Yeah.
Look, and the rest of the roster is just in shambles. Like Patty Mills, like, is a solid player. Joe, what's his name? White dude. He's hurt all year.
But he's hurt
all year. Exactly.
He'll be back till next year.
They're just filling in holes. Yeah, they're filling in holes, like pulling dudes like Bruce Brown out of nowhere.
Here's the thing, though, right? I mean, given how Joe Harris performed in the playoffs, every time he's been in the playoffs, did they exactly miss him? What are you gonna do? Oh, he missed more wide open threes.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons absolutely and does Ben Simmons have less trade value now or last year?
I mean, he's a year older, so it had to be less, right?
I would think it would be less because at least last year he still got traded for James Harden. Who's gonna trade for him now?
Yeah, they're stuck with that one. They're stuck. They're either like, look, I would not. I would suggest they don't do anything rash or whatever. But then again, like I said, this same shit about the Clippers the year after the bubble when they blew that 3-1 lead. But the injuries, Kawhi blew out his ACL or whatever else the next year. So we still haven't seen that full team in a playoff thing since the bubble. But like, bring both of their asses back. They need to tell Kyrie, we're not putting up with your bullshit or whatever else. And they got to have some honest conversations with each other about this. And they said, let's run this shit back and we'll see how this goes. Now, if they fail after that, give it 1 year. And after that, then it's like, all right, well, this shit just ain't going to work. We have to ride this shit out or we got to find places for people to go after that. I say blow it up next year as opposed to blow it up this year.
Yeah.
Am I giving them too much patience?
No, because like, you can argue that they just still haven't even seen what it all looks like, but it just keeps blowing up as they're trying to get out the blocks with this shit. And it's just like, is it going to be even worth it by the time we get to that point? But Kevin Durant has to take control of this team.
Yes,
like whatever happens, like, yes, as far as, from the player standpoint, like cede some of that control back. Y'all are not playing NBA 2K My GM mode in real life. Y'all need to stop this. Like, let the organization organize, Yeah.
And
fuck.
It's like, you see that team that they had, and they turn to like what happened with the Clippers when in the bubble, where it's like, you look at the team they had before Paul George and Kawhi showed up, and it's like, there's a bun in the heads of like, we had this tight-knit thing, we held each other accountable, and these two show up, and like, y'all can't say nothing to them because of their status in the league. And then like, is that with the Nets plus, like, they've gotten rid of everyone. Like, I think Claxton's like the only person left from the team originally.
Yep. A lot of Lakers stuff is similar with that too. Like there's no one, like it's all been turned over at this point. So yeah, but I guess we should get to pro wrestling. Ben Simmons, Sucker Frank.
Oh my
God.
Speaking of that, do you have that music?
You know what? I can find it.
All right, well, your version of it.
Yeah.
Just make sure to cut it after he says I'm gassed.
Okay. So give me one moment here, and I will find it, and I will play it on the stream.
Yeah, play on the stream, and I'll add it in post on the podcast.
But if you feel for me,
I'll do that. I'll do that. I just can't believe that like Kevin Durant looked like that. And I understand it's year 15 or whatever else, but like I've never seen him so out of sorts like on the court. And then it was like impassive. Like he missed game 2. He was 0 for 10 in the second half, and then game 3, like I think he took like one shot in the fourth quarter. And then, like, basically, and the thing I do like about, I'm not going to ever write off KD is like, after game 3, he basically was like, he owned up to it. He's like, I fucking sucked.
Mm-hmm.
There was no hiding. There was no, what you going, what excuse do you have? Is like, nah, man. Like, I sometimes, I think often about how, am I in my teammates' way by doing, because everybody expects me to score, like, the balance between, taking a back seat and making sure everybody else is like get their touches so they don't like the balance you always hear about the stars with like whether it's Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. We've heard for our entire lives when you're that kind of special. And he talked about like sometimes I think about it too much. I'm just in my own head. I just got to kind of just go back to basics. And you see what he did in the first quarter of that game 4. He's like, okay, this isn't this is a bad situation. Also, like Steve Nash,
it's almost like if only they
got to install the offense and run set plays. They can't just rely on someone just being up top and getting to a spot
roll the ball out.
And run the ball out offense. Like it's one like we saw this in OKC when we see Westbrook waiting forever to try to see that man come off a pin down and get open, and then eventually he'd be like, "Fuck this." There's like 12 seconds left on the shot clock. I'm about to make some bad decision instead because I'm tired of waiting to get this dude the ball.
If only there was an offense that Kevin Durant had experience playing in, that where all that stuff was taken care of for him. If only that existed.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
All right, I found the music, but it is official. New Japan Pro Wrestling and All Elite Wrestling have announced the Forbidden Door, and a lot of fans were happy about this. We'll get to the people that tried to, we'll get to those folks. But we came across a post from a guy named NK_Preach. I believe this gentleman is from the United Kingdom. So let's take a listen to what he had to say. I actually ended up throwing an instrumental over it. So,
hey yo, I don't want to hear shit from all of you wrestling niggas. AEWx New Japan is happening. You niggas is trash. Your favorite company is trash. I don't care what company you like. If it ain't AEW, if it ain't New Japan, sucker glizzy. Fuck out of here, niggas. It's time. It's time, you bitch ass niggas. June 29th. TK and New Japan put you bitch ass niggas on notice. Fuck out of here. Sucker Glizzy. Sucker Frank. I'm gassed.
Yeah. So tremendous. So yes. The Forbidden Door is here. And I think a lot of people are going to be happy when this show happens. I'm going to be happy when this show happens. I think the timing is great too. I feel like this is, the origins and earliest traces of AEW start in New Japan.
Yep.
I actually like that AEW was able to establish itself as its own kind of thing. It wasn't like New Japan was, say if this happened in 2019, it's almost like, well, what history and infrastructure and backbone do you, and what are you really known for AEW? Is it just New Japan just carrying? And I don't think that's gonna be the case here. It's like they're coming in and it's like AEW already has its own like fan base following, seen mountains of success on pay-per-view and getting renewals with TV money and everything. It's its own kind of flagship promotion in its own right, and I think both companies come in kind of looking for something from the other now. Like New Japan's trying to reestablish their North American foothold, I would say. Like, and a lot of these guys, like, even though they've been on shows like of course in the MSG one before, and this one feels like a much more even playing field. It wasn't just like always just like riding the bus as New Japan rolled into town. Like it's not like that. This is a lot more even. I feel like AEW does have the upper hand at this point, but they are, these companies have already been working together. They've already been having guys lose to each other like with no problem both ways, and things like that. And I think like be aware, like there's probably going to be some tag matches. There's going to be like I think I have more confidence this week that there's going to be some big singles matches than I did last week. Okay. And also I feel much better thinking we might see Kenny than we did last week as well. But
because of the Twitter stuff today or last few days,
he's been real. Like when Kenny starts like tweeting, I just be like, all right, so he must be feeling a little better, because usually that man will just fall off the map, disappear or whatever. But I'm very excited about this, and I think it's gonna be good for New Japan because it's a good way to get people kind of checking for what they're doing, because they've quietly been trying to put it together after a couple rough years, I would say. That evil stuff didn't go over well around these parts. That a lot of the confusion with the G1s and the two like the G1s, G1 finals, G1 wins, the briefcases getting moved around. A lot of that stuff didn't go, over well here. Like Keepin It Strong Style was like done awesome throughout this whole time. If you guys, have been following along with that, see, yeah, look at that endorsement. Hey, but yeah, like, and they're actually recording tonight. So check our show, check their show. We're probably going to have like two different perspectives on it, but the thing that I'm most excited about is like a lot of these guys are still novelty, fresh acts here. And we're going to like, I can think of just a million great matches between these two companies I want to see.
Yeah. If they do this once a year, like they'll never run out of matches. Hell, if they did this twice a year, they wouldn't run out of matches. Because there's always new people. Like eventually you'll have, Yuya, and you'll have Ren Narita, and you'll have Okan, and they'll be higher up the card or whatever else. Shota whenever he comes back or whatever else. So I'm interested to see how ticket sales go. Like, we're all gonna watch it, right? So that's not the concern. It'll be covered. We'll talk about it. I'm sure it'll be a great show and all that. I think the thing for me is just I wonder what, given how cooled off New Japan Pro Wrestling has been from 2019 to now, because of the pandemic and the crap clouds and them doing so many, you have to double up on shows to break even on shit. Like they're not as popular as they once were. And obviously, COVID and the touring, that's fucked up a lot of stuff from being able to bring in people, for a tour and then go away. Like we saw when, at the beginning of 2020, when, was it late January 2020, I think, when they were in St. Pete, the Coliseum, like we had Tanahashi. Mm-hmm. Like he ain't been back here since then, I don't believe. So,
he was on Resurgence last year.
I totally forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, you're right. But there were going to be more than just him. It was going to be a bunch of people, so it was just, this is a great way, this is greatly helping. And also, a lot of the stuff that happened where it's like, you know, hurt feelings of you were our guys and, you know, you left or whatever else, and now we gotta, you know, reset this and we gotta find new white boys to push. How's
that going?
Yeah. Like, I mean, they got Sabre and Ospreay, and then it's like Cobb's doing pretty well. You know, some of the Gaijins, they ain't been back in a minute, you know. Yeah, it was just, They really need it, and also like now that AEW is more established, they know that like it's not some flash in the pan thing, and they're not like some joke, and like Tony Khan's not some money mark. So that's also a big part of it, of, you know, of, and he actually respects them in a way that was like, you know, that wasn't something they were going to come across in WWE. They'd be like, WWE's on some get down and lay down shit.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
WWE. I think that's a major L for Nick Khan and everyone that was thinking some WWE New Japan partnership was going to happen last year, that mysteriously had all their tweets disappear when, you know, we wanted to bring these things back to the light. I think Tony Khan called it shot like Babe Ruth in that one promo. Essentially saying there's only, you know,
I've been working. There's only room for one Khan in the wrestling business and shit.
Yes.
Yeah, that was still kind of like, what is he doing? It makes more sense now, but it's still like, why are you shooting shots at Nick Khan?
He told us, that man knows the enemy. He knows who the enemy is.
I guess so.
You know, but as far as like, you know, saying he's been putting stuff together with New Japan Pro Wrestling, like he was talking about Yuji Nagata, and it's like the audience, like AEW's like already shown, like, you know, when Satoshi Kojima comes in, he gets a reaction. When Ishii comes in, you know, the crowd goes crazy. Like, this is a like
Minoru Suzuki, Jay White,
right. And it's like if any New Japan's going to work with anyone, it needs to be with AEW for the sake of pro wrestling. Like, and then it led to this ridiculous, you know, of course, with the positivity of the announcement, there have to be people that are not so positive about it. They want to start talking about how does this appeal to the casual fan and why they can't grow and da-da-da-da-da. And Joe Lanz on Voice of Wrestling actually has something great behind the paywall. And Rich, they went and talked about, and also WrestleNomics, AEW is the company that's growing year to year, which is, you know, something that is either underreported, not reported, misreported, right? And then WWE is like, well, like they're trotting out things like watch time and all these like goofy metrics that you can't like really quantify like really what they mean,
or if they even necessarily matter.
Correct. And
not to say they don't, but we don't know if they do or not.
Right. And you know, I thought a lot of this was like you know, when good news happens for AEW, there's a lot of there's a lot of ways that, you know, people can throw water on it. They can, like, there are people instantly saying, well, what about are the women going to be in this and all this stuff? And it's like, I don't know, maybe. Like, what's stopping them from booking a AEW women's title match? Oh, nothing? Oh, okay. And whether it's the want for the mythical casual fan, this is not the company for the casual fan. I don't know what needs to happen on the show to get people to know that, but like putting these imaginary people in the place of, like, you know, saying what AEW needs to capture, just because you know, for 20 years it's just been done this one way, right? But all throughout this last half decade, there's been this energy beyond WWE that TK, I feel like, is captured with AEW and the Elite, and then New Japan Pro Wrestling coming in now. And this is like, you know, how All In was like the early culmination of all that stuff, where we felt like, hey, there's like, this thing's bigger than actually maybe what we think it is. Mm-hmm. Like, this is like, this is them going commercial with it, essentially. Like, if that was like the big, you know, legendary mix, that was the Gangster Grills version of that shit, you know, whatever. This is the major label album of like, yo, of we doing like shit for people that really love pro wrestling, that have followed, you know, that follow shit around the world, like that. It's not like it doesn't, like, we don't care about fucking Johnny Knoxville, like that kind of shit. It's like, all right, what did that lead to for you? Like, like we're talking about all these things that they can't ever tell us what casual fans actually like. It's just like, no, they won't like that. And it's like, who cares about them? AEW's audience spends money, lots of it, and is consistently spent more money over time. So I don't know what the fuck people are talking about, honestly.
Yeah, and we started this back when we were, this show more or less for, a good chunk of time for about a year was the Wednesday night war show. And we were just like, maybe, I don't know about you, but I know me, I was like, I don't give a fuck about these ratings. Like, other than like, is the show going to get, are either of these shows going to get canceled? Okay, no. Okay, back to the shows and how well they did or not. So, for me, like, I don't, like the other TV shows I watch, I don't care about the ratings. I don't. Like, I care about the Raw rating. I care about the Raw ratings and the fact of, like, trying to figure out, like, who could they maybe push? Who may be having something going for them? Are we at a time of the year when, like, people don't, or, like, football season where, like, and also the time change where, like, people just don't give a flying fuck about the third hour? As WWE, like, looking at how they've laid out their show, how the show, like, the stuff I hear, stuff I see about the show, like, did they give up on, like, the third hour? Like, that's really the only kind of stuff with that number, with, like, the numbers that I really care about. Like, demo-wise, SmackDown's doing well, Raw's doing pretty good, NXT has been a disaster,
to put it lightly.
And Rampage, I'm sorry, Dynamite's doing well. Rampage is doing well for his time slot. So, like, we're pretty, like, the pro wrestling, the major pro wrestling, WWE, AEW pro wrestling is doing pretty well. Like, so, if there's something to really talk about, is, like, how good are these shows? And, like, so, that's why I don't really get, oh my God. Wow. Memphis just took a lead off of John Moran.
So if you want AEW to be WWE, just watch WWE. That's what it's there for.
Yeah. And, the casual fans, like, I get what they're trying to say, but, like, the casual fan thinking just, like, it's too nebulous. It's just way too nebulous to try to figure. You can't, like, you're trying to, basically what you're saying is you're trying to chase after water and hold it in your hand. Like, nah. Like, I mean, that'd be nice if that's what he wants to do. Like, and seeing Rosario Dawson, seeing the dude that but going forward with the Paige Van Zant thing, having Mike Tyson and stuff like that. You can't say that they haven't tried to pop a rating or whatever else based off of bringing a celebrity or book a match to try to get, people in, bringing back Sting, bringing in CM Punk, having, Bret Hart show up at, introduce us to the world title belt. Like, they've done some of this stuff. They wanted to bring in Ric Flair. They can't bring in Ric Flair. So, like, when people say this, it's like, do you really mean this, or are you just saying, like, well, it's basically effectively, well, it's not WWE? And if you are, fine, but, like, just be real about it. There's no, if you just prefer WWE, fine. I think you're crazy, but whatever.
Yeah, I can't imagine thinking about New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW and then saying, well, what about the casual fan? What about these matches, nigga? Like, I don't...
Right.
Like, so, like...
And also, it's like, why do I care about the casual fan when I'm pretty sure these tickets are all going to sell?
Out. Like, I feel I'm
pretty confident these tickets are all going to sell. Like, whether or not they're going to sell 150,000 pay-per-view buys, that's another thing. But, like, as far as selling the house, they're going to do that.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of faux concern. Just like lots of other things, starting with the trucks and then going forward. But yeah, man, I'd love to see a lot of these matches. Like, I love to see a match like, for example, like like Sammy Guevara versus Hiromu Takahashi, something like that. See who's really crazy on pay-per-view. Someone really may die in that match. I don't know, man. I'd love to see Hangman and Shingo Shingo's like, I know he has a King of Pro Wrestling thing now. I don't know if that would deter him from getting a championship match or something like that. Tetsuya Naito gave a great interview today. I actually saved what he said, and I think this is great because beyond the We Are the World aspect of this thing, there needs to be like a little juice here. I feel like there needs to be some competition. There needs to be some shit talk, and Tetsuya Naito provided that.
Pure exhibition match. Somebody's have to have some heat. And Naito, Naito is a shit stirrer. He always has been.
So he said he plans to issue no challenge for this show. There is no wrestler I want to call out. Naito says through a translator, the reason is simple. Wrestlers in AEW will all gather and shout, I want to wrestle Tetsuya Naito and I want to fight Los Ingobernables de Japón. It isn't hard to see this happening and won't take long before it does. I love it. We need somebody and then that sets the table for someone to call him out. Don't know who that'll be, but there are a lot of people that are prideful and happy about being in AEW, and probably want to get the dub. So I started watching wrestling because of WCW versus New Japan, like in 1995. This is right up my alley. This is full circle for me, damn near.
Yeah. Real quick before we move on. Memphis had a 1-point lead. They miss a shot. They go back up the floor with 26 seconds left. Memphis up and Minnesota has the ball. Bro, D'Angelo Russell dribbled the air out the ball and then pulled up from 12 feet, missed it, didn't even hit the rim. And Memphis just made 2 free throws. They're up 3 now. And they're calling timeout to find a play to get a 3 to send overtime. It's like, D'Angelo, if you don't get this fucking ball out your hand and get that shit to Anthony Andrews, to Edwards, what are you doing? But whatever. I just I don't have any expectations for this show outside of just wanting to have at least a 1 or 2 or 3 big singles matches where they, each company trades a win or whatever else, and then like they set up for a year or 6 months from now to do it again. That's all I want.
Yeah,
like, just do more than Night 3 of Wrestle Kingdom. Just do more.
Yeah. I would love to see, like, even if like Kenny and Will Ospreay were talking to each other on Twitter today, and Will was asking Kenny if he was going to be ready for Chicago. Kenny was like, maybe, never know. So
and they've been at each other for months now.
Yeah,
I'd
love to see it.
Shit. And sure enough, guess who makes a corner 3 to tie up the game?
Ant-Man.
Yeah. Sure enough.
So a lot of people were throwing around the CM Punk versus Okada main event possibility, and I gotta say, I don't see it. Like, because Okada's the IWGP champion. Yeah, Okada's the IWGP champion. Unless you think he's losing it to Naito, and then main eventing anyway over him when Naito has the IWGP title and comes to America, I don't know how that works, right? I don't know how you get around that and do that, right?
I know how that works, but
do tell.
I mean, you tell me who like the Elite have a better relationship with. They didn't call Naito to come to All In. They called Okada.
Yeah. So
they think higher of him than they think of Naito.
Right. Like, and I think a lot of people do. So. CM Punk, do you want to...
Zach been unsubscribe on us for saying this. Right?
Look, this
motherfuckers.
And Diogo brings up a great point. CM Punk versus Okada right now in Chicago would be a big main event, but neither would be in a good position to lose. And that's why, I'm saying it's like Okada's the champ and Punk shouldn't lose in Chicago. Then Dylan said Page and Okada, only problem there, they're both still the champions, and if you're gonna beat one of them, like, there's still like, that's why I feel like a matchup like a Hangman versus Shingo would be like,
because Shingo's gonna lose, but that's not the point,
right?
I do.
Or Okada, and then serve him up somebody big from AEW, like whether it's Danielson or whoever.
Is anybody that he owes a W? He needs to get a win from like a G1 or something.
I
Oh,
would
that boy
have
cold.
to look.
Ja just made a layup. Now they're up 2. 1 second left in the game.
Let me take a look.
No
at the
timeouts.
Like, or Adam Cole, as I mentioned last week, you have no problem beating Adam Cole. Okada and Moxley, they were friends at one point, but they could do that match as well. But Moxley seems like he's got smoke for Tanahashi.
Yeah, I mean, and also there's still the part where like what happened at Windy City Riot, so it's like they could do Ospreay and Moxley again after that disputed finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so after that,
you bring back a Miro or something like that and give him a IWGP title match, something like that.
After the layup, Minnesota didn't have any timeout, so they had to hurl. So Karl Anthony Towns had to hurl up like a 80-foot like thing that didn't even come close. So Memphis won.
Right, like so I think those are I would expect that kind of title match. And if they go above that, awesome. Let them figure it out. If they want to book Punk versus Okada, all right, cool. Figure it out then. Like we know the pitfalls, but are you going to either have the heart to beat somebody or swap a belt somewhere? Like it would be really cool if one of them ROH TV titles change hands and goes to somebody for a little while. If the TNT title might happen to go to someone that's going to be here for like 6 weeks or something, and then they drop it back. Like there's just tons of cool possibilities that I'm really excited for. And then they've like I want to see shit all night as far as like people walking around backstage interacting with each other. Like you can get all your comedy goofy people like crossing up with each other. You can have MJF like seeing a lot in the House of Torture, seeing those guys be awesome guys, shit like that. Like there's just a lot of like, you can have Keith Lee running into Kojima and then they talk about eating bread and shit. Like you can you can have Dustin Rhodes and Yuji Nagata like
House of Black and House of Torture together, and they meet each other, and then they realize like, yeah, they both evil, but like we wrestle over here, y'all don't.
Yeah, like you see Dustin Rhodes run to Yuji Nagata and be like, respect, you have John Silver,
Yano and Orange Cassidy,
right, or Danhausen, whoever.
Yeah.
You have Hook, face off with one of their like young lions somewhere. Like, there's just tons of shit like you can do. Like, but I'm very excited about it and can't wait for it to pretty much happen. Yes, I agree, Diogo. He said he loves Punk, but I don't need to see him try to do a 1 hour draw. Yes, I don't need it either. Not at this stage.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, man, there was also something else that came up today that lit Twitter on fire that I just like stayed all the way away from because why at this point? Becky Lynch did an interview with, let's see, Drew Garabo Live. So they have a show here in Lakeland actually on Saturday, probably about an hour away from where James and I are.
Yeah.
And I think it's like Saturday night's main event. It's like a house show or something. She was doing promotion and she was asked if women at that other place, because you're not allowed to say, the name in the interviews or whatever.
They're really Voldemort.
Apparently. So and a lot of this stuff is in character, so that's why
okay.
I didn't quite, but she raised up a couple things that was like, hold on, like I know where the gimmick stops and then like whatever. She was asked if women at that other place motivate her to raise the bar even more. Becky said the AEW women's division isn't represented in the way that women in WWE are, and frankly, they don't get as much time as women in WWE. Frankly, the AEW women's division isn't as good as WWE's. And then she said, I wish I could say yes, but unfortunately, I don't think they're represented, blah, blah, blah. She said, we on Raw certainly have the best women's division in the world. And I say that without any hesitation in my voice. We have the best women's division in the world. And yeah, competition is great. It's great for there to be another place. And I have a very good friend, Ruby Soho, over there. And I would love to see her as the champion one day. I would love to see her getting the spotlight she deserves. Competition is always great, but over here, we're just on another level right now, man. We're on another level. these quotes are just hilarious in some aspects. As Becky says these things, there was just a SmackDown that featured no women's matches. There was just a Raw that had one women's match. There was just a WrestleMania that had one night that had one women's match on it. There was a Queen's Crown tournament that just got completely smoked.
Was it like eight matches in 17 minutes or some shit like that, or less than 20 minutes for sure?
Yes, the Queen's Crown has got smoked several times, but there's going to be 2 tournaments that smoke by the time the dust settles from all these quotes. There's going to have been 2 women's tournaments in AEW that have smoked the last women's tournament that they've done in WWE in match quality and time. Becky did a lot of the best division in the world stuff, and I'm like, all right, whatever, cool. But the thing, like, these things take a life of their own, like, in as far as, like, you know, I don't really care about her saying that best division in the world stuff. Like, that's like, you know, that's kind of what you say. There are Impact wrestlers crying on the internet right now and saying Dave Meltzer is not, or the country of Japan is not going to have sex with Dave Meltzer, and Impact wrestlers are sending this stuff out right now. So
who said this?
Rosemary, whoever this person is. But yeah, it was a whole Japan, because you know, this whole thing went on, and then
what did Meltzer say?
There was a person that said, hey, you know, everyone can argue about WWE and AEW, Impact's, you know, where it's at, Dave dunks on someone, says Stardom is the best women's wrestling in the world, and then a Impact wrestler quotes Dave and says, Japan is not going to fuck you, Dave. And it's like, 1, he didn't say Japan, he said Stardom. 2, stop being so insecure. 3, the Impact wrestlers have a history of doing this with Dave and being upset that he doesn't really, you know, fuck with the promotion. But as far as what Becky was saying, like I said, don't really care about the best promotion in the world stuff. The thing is, you know, we're talking about they don't get time as much time as WWE, and they are not as represented as the way we are. I'm like, is that really true?
I think that they have, maybe not now, but let's say before, was it 2008? Was it November 4th, 2008? Or when they end up on SmackDown? SmackDown went to Fox, right?
2019, I believe it was.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, because it was all the same. Yeah. So, yeah, because it was all the same weekend as Dynamite showing on. Yeah. So basically, from that point forward, it seems like, from what I can glean from looking at numbers and stuff, it seems like there's been less of investment in women's wrestling than there had been from, like, up to that point, from like 2015-ish to then. But they still have I don't want to say benefit of the doubt, but they still have the stars that were built up from that time. So that's the Horsewoman, that's Asuka, that is Ronda Rousey, now that she's back. And, you know, basically since then, the only other person that really has been brought up to that kind of level has been Bianca. They try and fail with Lacey Evans. They're trying again, and by all accounts, people that I you know, see on my timeline that talk about it, like, they can't stand it, and it's almost like, if she had this great story, maybe you shouldn't have brought her out as this shitty heel for multiple years, and then have her come back and try to get your sympathy then. Like, they did this shit in reverse. And people talked about, like, people backstage believed in her because of this story. It's like, well, why the fuck you bring it out as a heel off rip? That's dumb. But whatever. You know, they had their own prerogative. So, but yeah, they're still living off of basically the works of the Horsewoman, Asuka, and from you know, prior years, it's still and Ronda. And, you know, now that they have less time or stuff, whatever else, you know, it's not like their storylines are so sophisticated or adult or layered or whatever else. But they do have the benefit of history, like that when you see, Sasha and you see Becky and they have a feud in like 2019 or whatever else, you kind of, they've already done that work. Like this is a chapter of what they've already done, as opposed to AEW where it's like everything is still so new.
Everything's building, like
everything's still building, and the things you're building isn't nearly as invested as the time that WWE did put into at the time back then. So like that's the thing when me and you talk about, and I've said ad nauseum about like either you're going to do it or you don't or you're not, and like if you don't, if you're going to rely on getting to the 5 years from now and seeing Rosa versus Britt then to say like look at this story that they've told over 5 years. I don't think you've really gotten them in the door to where like people filled them in that way outside of the part where like they've had they tried to have 2 crazy matches and one of them was great. And they're still working on that thing. Like they still only have 2 or 3 stars. Still only have 3 bankable stars, if you will. And 2 other ones that I would say are stars. Is that enough for a division? Yes. I just think that they don't have the time to. They haven't put in the time, and it's going to take time, but it's also going to take more time out of these shows to get there. And if they don't, we'll look back and be like, well, we saw this shit from like almost day one that they weren't putting in this time. They were throwing them in, at like that 9:20 slot or whatever. In a roundabout way, I'm basically saying like I don't know how much better WWE's women's division is than, or any WWE women's division is better than AEW's women's division. I just know that like at least WWE has the rep of the last 6 years to still live off of.
Mm-hmm. Like they had an entire like developmental territory, like testing that whole thing that they eventually put on their main show after years and kicking and screaming. So like for me the rush to essentially make AEW have to compete on that level with them from day one it feels a little, it's disingenuous. I don't know. Like I can't, especially when there's no Chris Jericho, there's no Kenny Omega. There's like, these are all new, like they're new people. Like Jade is a new person to wrestling. For example, she's had 30 matches. Never had
31 matches or whatever.
Britt had never really had a shot on a national stage like this. Thunder Rosa, similar. Like a lot of their stars like are working with, and to Becky's point, limited time. And it's like, this AEW is way more competitive than WWE. I feel like WWE has more programming hours throughout the week. They have like different ways to. They have a much larger like social media following that they can blast stuff to, and
there's less time on matches.
Right. There's like less time, so it's weird that it's something that is valid, but at the same time, it's like, all right. If it has to roll out at the box at day one, where does it grow to from one? Also, like, do we ignore everything else that like AEW is already competing with out the box day one? Like, there are just some tools that are going to be sharper than others. Like we talked about Ben Simmons, right? like earlier in the show, and it's like he has a difficulty shooting the jumpers, but no one talks about how bad his defense is. No one or how good his defense is. He can rebound, he can distribute. These are all strengths of his, and AEW strengths are, I think, in a different area. But I feel like they've like much in the similar to the representation thing, which people have like tied these things together as well. It's like, I think they have worked with what they had at a given particular time. And when it's like, okay, it's time to, hey, you have the tools that we feel like we can expect something. I feel like they've delivered in, every time, essentially, where it's like, all right, you have no stars. Oh, okay, there's a couple stars being created. Make people care about them. People fucking care when Thunder Rosa won the belt. So, you know, it's a process. So, like, I don't think Becky's totally out of line, but she's also, like, taking, like, you know, she's doing the thing. So, got some good discussion out of it, I think, for the people that actually wanted to approach this in good faith. But then, of course, you know, there was the noise, the bullshit that was out there.
Yeah, so JML put in Meltzer's tweet in here, and I clicked on the link, and look, I'm just gonna look in the chat. I see Dylan in here, I see JML in here. Besides just us two that, you know, that watch Joshi, you know, that watch Stardom, and, you know, me that, you know, dabbles in Joshi, like, you know, outside of Stardom or whatever else. If you were to ask me what the best women's division in the world is, if you say, like, there's a difference between a promotion and a division, I would still take, like, AEW's, or sorry, I still would take, like, Stardom's, like, High Speed or Tag or Trios division before I take, like, what's happening right now. Like, basically since NXT Black and Gold, like, their women's division went to shit. Like, so, yeah. That
Look, man, I almost got on Twitter and responded to the Impact wrestler that Unagi Sayaka was packing up their entire company. Like, but I didn't, right? But I almost did.
That match with Kamatani would probably be the best match of the year, right?
Look, they never talk about the matches.
Oh, no, yeah. Like, it's funny because it's like, I've looked at some of those comments underneath Meltzer thing, and they were like,
see, general fear of the unknown, a fear of Japan, insecurity.
Japan talking about, well, what about the stories and promos? I was like, I can send you a video of someone that did a fucking 30-minute essay on Starlight Kid versus Izumi. That was a semi-main event for a C pay-per-view. Like, a 30-minute essay. You got one of those. You got one of those for Rhea and Liv. I don't think you do. I know.
Hey, man, that Liv Morgan will never win clip. It ages great, by the way. But yeah, man.
Dylan says Yuka Sakazaki is smoking the Impact. Yeah, absolutely. Well, oh, JML says, give me the Stardom Hawk division. We gotta get this shit off the ground. We gotta come up with a name for it. We gotta come up with a name for it. We gotta get a belt for it. We gotta do all that. But yeah,
even if we have to, like, have the belt ourselves, like, as a lineal championship.
Bro, just this weekend, there's a trios match between God's Eye and Stars, and they started it with Ida and Mirai, and they just picked up where they left off from Sumo Hall. It was great, but for like the first like 5 minutes of the match. But yeah, I just I don't. Well, yeah, like Dylan says Tokyo Joshi Pro's top 5 Impact's whole women's division. Yeah, that's
Oh yeah, I think that goes without saying.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Like, you can take out Miyu and Yuka, and I still take, like, basically from, like, Mizuki to, like, Hikaru Inoue over them.
Yeah. Carler says, where would
I'll go even lower. I'll throw in Miyu Watanabe too. Throw her in there.
And I think what Becky may be talking about with that Raw women's roster, and then you can add the SmackDown one in there. It's like, man, after you get past them first 2-3 names on each side, it gets rough, man. Yeah. Like, and people don't be ready to talk about that.
Yeah, like, like you look her up and you're like, oh, okay, so how many people are you going before you end up getting to Zelina or Dana Brooke, Carmella, yeah, Alexa Bliss.
They right there. Can't miss them.
It ain't that far. It ain't that deep. It ain't nearly that deep.
So, luckily they got Asuka back. She's going to be apparently working with Becky, which just leaves me to wonder what Bianca's going to be doing that's compelling. And these questions are, these are questions that suddenly don't have answers at certain points.
Yeah, I just I haven't seen any of the Oscar return stuff. I heard people were very happy that she's back. She's one of the very few people that could like actually get me to watch any of their stuff. So, or at least like check it out on YouTube to see what's going on with them. Like that's not in a, oh my God, something disastrous happened. You have to now like see the car wreck. But yeah, I'll go see what's going on this week with her and Becky or whatever else. Cause they all they do is have good matches when they end up having, end up on pay-per-view. So, but yeah, it's just weird. It's just really weird. Like the daily rhetoric or the weekly rhetoric of any topic that pops up and how it's like immediately turns into a, and obviously this was a question she's answering honestly, but like then it turns into like the bad faith stuff, and it's like why is everybody like this, like, and then it's like, oh well,
I feel like if people like talk to each other, like, and I don't really advocate for the spaces or stuff like that, but like if people were in person talking with each other,
they would not be talking to each other like this.
They wouldn't do that.
They're all trying to dunk on each other in like in 240 characters, or 280 characters, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. And it's like I think there's a way to talk about just about any of these stories that come up, right? But it is it's a thing, and the wrestling war has brought a lot of insecurity out of people, a lot of just being nasty to each other. I feel like there's a way you can do it, and it's like, all right, and it's I really question some of the stuff people tweet, like what makes them start with that? What makes you go with that line? So I enjoy doing that, but because I'll drop that Prince on you quick now, like that. What you putting in your nose?
And don't get me wrong, like we all partake in that shit too, right? Like I forgot who it was. Mark Madden that said some shit about Eric Bischoff and how Eric Bischoff was always trying to get the casual fan.
Oh yeah, bring that to the light.
Well, like, what the fuck was 90? What the fuck was Starrcade 95? And what the fuck was? And people, he said something like, dream matches aren't what it is. Like, then why did they immediately go to Flair Hogan when Hogan showed up in WCW? And then his response wasn't like, oh my bad, I forgot, or whatever it was. Well, that shit didn't work. Call me when AEW does something like NWO. And I was like, oh, you're one of them. Okay, I got you. You're a bullshitter. Got you. Okay. So he did do all this shit, and like your tweet is just like wildly dishonest. Okay, got you. And like he has thousands and thousands of viewers, and I or followers, and I got more likes than him. So I won the ratio, I guess. Whatever.
Yes.
It's like,
James, it sounds like so
yeah.
Underdog Fantasy is the fastest growing fantasy app and easiest place to play fantasy sports. Just jump on UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app, draft your team, and that's it. And if drafts aren't your thing, they also have a pick'em game where you can win 20 times your money in a single night. Use promo code RADIO, and Underdog will double your first deposit when you sign up with up to $100 in bonus cash. Deposit $100, get $100 free. That's promo code RADIO. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about Dynamite now.
Okay. Yeah. So I believe the first match or Dynamite started with CM Punk versus Dustin, right?
Yeah. Overall on this show, I thought it was just all right. Dynamite has such a high hit percentage for me. It's like, I think one of these shows comes around and it's just like, all right, it was there. Like there was some wrestling on it, and then I thought the announcement was the big news, the big buzz, the really drove the conversation on the night watching it. But CM Punk and Dustin Rhodes opened up the night, and Jim Ross, just listen to him on commentary, like you would have thought we were watching, Jack Briscoe versus Dory Funk, Savage Steamboat, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. Man, I saw enough Bret Hart moves in the match. I love Bret Hart, but god damn, bro, y'all carrying this real hard right now, man. And there was news about Bret Hart this week. They have fucked around and made the block hot, and they may have fucked around and done this on purpose, knowing all these guys. Like, hey man, let's get Bret paid. I felt like Bret was already kind of signed anyway with WWE, but I don't. They're doing a lot of Bret Hart stuff. Let's just say that. But him and Dustin, I was bored, bro. I was bored.
Really?
I'm sorry. Yes.
I remember. So you remember, I didn't watch this live. I missed it because I was probably watching some playoff thing or whatever else. Maybe, I was catching up on sleep or something because, that always happens with me. But ended up watching it later. I ended up watching it right before Rampage on Friday. And I really liked this match. Now, I didn't think it was some 4-star match. I don't know. I haven't looked at Cage Match. I have no idea.
4.
I gave it 3.5. I really liked it. I thought it. I think I was doing a live tweet thing in the Largo Loop thread while watching. I was because I remember you mentioning something about all the there's too much of this Bret stuff that Punk is doing, and I'm watching. I'm like. I'm seeing him do the leg work, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I see the Bret stuff.
Come to find out, he's ripping a Bret Hart Goldust match directly off.
Yeah, and then the finish with the Rana cradle. I'm like, this some '92 SummerSlam ass shit here. Fuck you. I was like, okay, I like this match. However. You might slow down. Don't just slow down a little bit, just a little bit. I enjoyed the match. I gave it 3.5, as I said, but I thought it was a very good match. But I can see if it is. I feel like as we have progressed more and more and more with featuring Kingston, the Blackpool Combat Club, seeing Samoa Joe here. Seeing Minoru Suzuki here, seeing Tomohiro Ishii here, of late anyway, the game has came more my way, whereas we are now watching more ass-beating wrestling than the flying of late. And then when you have that, you throw in this classic match, and it's all right, well AEW lately has been fast-paced flying or ass-beating wrestling, and then you do a traditional classic 90s wrestling match, and it's kind of maybe either you need to do more of those at a shorter length, of course, more like a match you would see on a Raw, from 94, 95, whatever else, or not 94, or 95, 96, or maybe you just only it just sticks out because it's Punk doing it and Punk's real in person doing that or whatever else, but it's it just kind of stuck out as this is totally different, but I enjoyed it, but I wonder if people that don't know all the Bret Hart stuff went for it the way that I did or not. I don't know. But yeah. Dustin, you get him running the ropes and you get him doing stuff and it's God, he's still fucking good. So it worked for me, but I see how you could be this is getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, it felt like it went really long. Jim Ross was just so heavy-handed on commentary. I was just what the fuck, man? I was like, Jim Ross, you see mind-blowing shit every week, and then you act like you can't be bothered when you see that shit, right? And then you see a spinning toe hold, you're ready to fellatio on the entire match, and it's just all right, Jim. I get it. You've known him for 30 years. I get it, bro. Try to get excited about the other matches too, like this.
And what's funny? I forgot what made me find it, but there is in a house show from 82 WWF that's on YouTube, or not the whole house show, but like it's Tiger Mask versus Saito.
Sayama.
No, it's just Saito. Yeah, Sayama. Yeah, Sayama. First Tiger Mask one. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, whatever else, and all it is like Saito and them big ass trouts wailing on him, and then like he does one evasive flip, and then he does a flip dive onto Sayama, and there's no padding on the floor, and like the crowd stands on his feet and applauds in the middle of the match, and like he's on his feet for the rest of the match until the finish, where Tiger Mask 1 ends up like winning with some type of flashy roll up or whatever else. And I'm just like, you hear the way people talk about like old school wrestling and all this other shit, and it's like this is fucking 40 years ago. This is 40 years ago. People are losing their fucking minds over a flip dive. And and people act like this shit never happened before, and it's like, oh, obviously I already knew that because like I've seen some of the Tiger Mask and Dynamite Kid shit, and then like this actually was happening when me and Josh talking about Alex Wright's daddy, and and the shit that I had seen, the little bit I had seen of him, and how you saying like there's not much tape, but like he was, he thinks in his opinion that he was better than Tiger Mask 1 or whatever, and I was like, yeah, man, like people always try to get you to believe that they thought that wrestling shit was real. No, they didn't.
Ain't no way.
These grown ass adults didn't knew that shit wasn't real. Get out of here. There may have been more than now, sure, but like in general, nah. People knew that shit wasn't on the up and up. Ain't no way.
So they had basically after the match, Heyman comes out for CM Punk. CM Punk keeps gesturing, he wants the belt, and then Heyman comes out. Heyman gets cheered, and I feel like that kind of like puts to bed like the how's Heyman doing, like is him getting cheered. I think is a very positive sign. Looks like they're going that way for the next title match. Bring it on.
Yeah. This is probably like since the CM Punk, since the title win, this is probably the biggest match he's gonna have. So I don't know if they change the title. Like I don't care one way or the other who wins. But I'm excited to see the matchup, and what I'm mostly interested in is like what Paige has to say to Punk when they go face to face, because like that's what Paige is good at, is going face to face to get over and fire up in front of a crowd. Like I was I think I was going to tweet something to Tanya, but I think I forgot. But it was like she was talking about like, are people like already trying to get the belt off of Hangman? Because every match I see him, this shit's ain't no fucking way. And I was like, I just think that people like kind of want their baby faces to be like in that John Cena CM Punk mode of like just a person that can do all the talking in the world, right? And like that's not Paige, but like once Paige has the opponent, he can go face to face with them and fire up and get you to buy into the match. And like like I have no like basically any doubt or question I had about him, he's answered since November. So like so that's why like last week we were talking about how you were saying there are people still out here doubting. I'm like, what the fuck is there to doubt now? What are we doing? I don't get it. I just don't. He's answered every question. Like, if you would like him to be more featured on the show, yeah, sure, maybe I guess. But it's like,
look, that's not a Hangman Page problem.
Yeah, that's not a thing saying like he's not doing well, because everything he's done has been done well. Like, I guess you wanted more for an Adam Cole Page or Adam Cole feud or whatever else, but like they told a story about like whether or not where he's going to take it in his arrogance as far as his or his hubris, as far as like him feeling like since he beat Kenny Omega, like does he feel like he's untouchable, or does he or whatever else? And like he answered that question when it came to that belt stuff in his matches with Paige. He answered it like that was a story. Like if it was too subtle for you, I guess, but they told the story. They told the shit like literally 3 times in the middle of their television and matches.
Yeah. I just hope people are ready. I just hope people are ready. If it's me, buckshot time. And if Punk wants to act like Bret Hart, I know somebody that Heyman can act like that can turn this bitch up real quick. And he likes to drink. So So, after that, we had Wardlow arriving at the arena. They told him that he needed to be handcuffed. So, the geeks like walked him to the locker room while he was, handcuffed and all that. Then we got Regal on commentary. Got Blackpool Combat Club defeating Dante Martin, Lee Moriarty, and Brock Anderson. Darius Martin is out of action. I don't know why yet.
Yeah,
but
the word is it was, or he let it be known that it was like a non-wrestling injury. That's why he's injured. And I was like, oh, that sucks, man. That sucks for him. He just got back.
Yep.
And they were kind of like, going, easing him into things, and then like he's hurt again. Like, I don't know what the injury is or whatever else, but I hope he, hope him a speedy recovery, because that sucks. He had just got back.
Yep. But on the bright side, this Dante Martin season can keep continuing. Sorry, Darius, but Moxley, Danielson, and Yuta. Yuta comes out in his new gear. They beat the fuck out of these three. Lee Moriarty looked great. Yep. I think he looked great in a way. I thought he looked great in a way that I didn't think he necessarily did in the Danielson match, where I was looking for him to fight back more. He did it in this match, I think. I wouldn't have pinned Dante Martin here. I mean, Brock Anderson's right there, but I guess they figure since like he's the tag team wrestler, they can pin him. And, I don't know if Brock's necessarily a tag team guy or not. I know he teams with Lee Johnson from time to time, but this was another... if you don't get it yet with Blackpool Combat Club, like they're gonna keep like making you understand they're here to fuck people up.
Yeah, and I gotta say, man, like the way they showcase all three of them, like Brock and Dante and Lee individually while they're in the ring with individual guys, like that was really cool. That reminded me of like something that would happen in like some indie show as opposed to what would happen on national television, the way it was done. It was effective for me, and I really enjoyed the match. And like, hey, we talked about this a bit when Lee Johnson and him tagged against FTR in like this short match on Rampage Dynamite a few months ago. Like, Brock might be just flat out fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
He might just be flat out fucking good. Like, I've seen him wrestle like 3 times, and like, wrestle like his fucking daddy. Like he might just like Brock Anderson might just be flat out a good ass worker, and like because of how he looks or whatever else, it ain't gonna really work in this era or whatever else. But like just off of like get his ass in the ring and ring the bell, he might just be able to just flat out work. Period.
Dylan, Brock Anderson greater than Dom Mysterio.
They do different things, but like yeah, they do different things, but yes, I would tend to agree. Yes. Like, I mean, really, we only got like the WrestleMania match from last WrestleMania, and like Dom's like first few match with Seth. That's really the only thing that, by all accounts, that I could tell that we really got out of Dom.
Dom is a fraud coming from Dylan. That's great.
See what you've influenced. You see what you've done. You see what you've done. This is your fault.
MJ does PR. Says Brock's coming for the tough white man division strap.
You gotta start throwing chops or some forearms if you want to do that. Like, give him a match with Suzuki since he on a dark, and that might get him there.
But, yeah. So we had Cole, the Bucks, and Red Dragon backstage. They were popping me in the comments, killing Dom.
They do different things. It's just that Dom doesn't do anything well. That's bullshit. His flying's nice. He does some nice flying. Is he fucking Vikingo? No, but the stuff he does look good. Look, maybe you've watched more WWE than me, but the stuff I've seen and whatever else of him, he's not as bad as people make him out. They make him out to be like the worst fucking wrestler in the world. And like, at WrestleMania, he did not look like the worst wrestler in the world to me. I think it's hyperbole, and people were like, well, he's supposed to be Rey Mysterio Jr.'s son, so he should be fucking Rey Mysterio. Hey, and man, there's only one of them.
Mysterio, El Hijo de Rey Mysterio Jr. Like, JML says, put him with JD Drake and say that Drake is JD Anderson. That's great.
Wow. JD, hey, why not? All of Anderson's fake Andersons anyway.
Yes. Even Arn. Like, yeah. So, Dylan said Dom is so ass. I don't even use him in 2K to job. Jesus.
Damn.
But
what did Dom do to y'all? Y'all so needlessly cruel to this man. Is it the Hermes belts that piss y'all off? Y'all mad that he wears $700 belts on TV? Y'all mad that he's spending his daddy money? That's what it is.
Look, we mad that Ray out here, feels sorry for him. And that man holding up progress. Ray could have been, doing other work.
That's true. That is true.
But I didn't even realize he was in 2K, Dylan. Apparently he is. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and
like a DLC or something. Even over like he's Hogan.
I got to. Remember we used to do.
He's worse than Hogan.
No. Well, yeah. I mean, I've whooped Hogan several times, but remember we used to do the Mick Foley,
yeah,
and the Hell in a Cell matches. Like I'm gonna have to go ahead and give Dom some work on 2K. So, okay, you can unlock him at the end of the Ray showcase. I haven't done the showcase yet, so Cole, Bucks, and Red Dragon backstage. Bobby Fish is looking absolutely ridiculous. With his stash and the glasses, his combo, it's just like that man looks like he's in disguise or something. Like, so O'Reilly said they need to turn it around as an undisputed elite. O'Reilly said he's going to qualify for the Owen. Cole says no, we can't be stopped as a team. Everybody's wearing all black, by the way. None of the the goofy shit. So the Bucks are depressed. Said there's going to be a UE or a 10-man open challenge next week. So after that, like Cole said, he had other business to tend to. And then we got a promo video featuring Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal feud. Sanjay Dutt said some words, and then Satnam handed off to Satnam Singh. It said Singh is going to carry the legacy of the entire country of India, and then they're shooting Satnam Singh like directly underneath him, so he looks like he's 12 feet tall. Samoa Joe said he's inevitable, and then Satnam Singh said something in Indian with the subtitles. I don't remember what he said. I think he just said, "I'm gonna beat you," or "Your time is coming, Joe," or something like that.
Lethal and Dutt put him over like as hard as you could put anyone over. Like,
yes.
Dutt was like, for years I've been known as the greatest wrestler from ever descend from India, and the next is him. I was like, God damn, boy, this what you do? Okay. And then he said, what did he say? He said, yeah, he Lethal was like, he dribbled Jonathan Gresham like a basketball.
Yes. And then they cut him to him, Oh,
bro,
man,
this great. Is like the way they put him over is like how I imagine Flair would have put over Nakamura by mentioning like Fujinami or some shit.
Bro, this is like some Gary Hart shit.
Yeah,
like
bro.
I got this fucking guy, and if we were bringing him to Memphis or some shit, and Jerry Jarrett was like, "Yeah, I got this new monster of the month that I need to build up for Lawler or whatever." Like, we got this guy from India. He's 9 feet tall. He's the greatest fighter to ever come from there. He's coming to kill. I said, kill Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
That.
And we have no idea. I mean, because it was on Dynamite, we assume it's gonna be on AEW, but like, I don't know. Like, that might be Ring of Honor. Who knows? Who knows where we get it and where? But like, it was some good talking on that segment. They talked some real cash shit for that one. We finna see, because he better not suck the way he was talking. Like, they was talking like he was trying to put some stakes on it, or put their credibility to it big time. I know their heels, so credibility is shaky, but I wouldn't be saying that kind of shit if there's even a halfway chance he stinks. So we'll see.
I feel like he's gonna be. I feel like he's gonna surprise some people, but we'll see. So then we got the announcement of the Super Show. Tony Khan got introduced by Shivani. He immediately brought out Obari, and Obari comes out in a suit. Tony has the same clothes on that he had on when he did that Nick Khan interview, which I found interesting.
Really?
same jacket and all that shit. And then Adam Cole interrupted on the big screen. He said he was the one who deserved to make this announcement for the Forbidden Door. Someone who's such a big star in Japan as him was the one that, do that. And we're going to get a taste of it, the United Center when he fights Tomohiro Ishii and the crowd goes fucking nuts because they knew they were going to see that match later tonight, an Owen Hart qualifying match. I feel like this is a red herring, everybody. This was why when I heard this, I was like, Kenny's coming back. Those were the lines for like Kenny, essentially. If anybody deserves to, announce this show or whatever, that's a magnitude of star in Japan. And then I don't think a lot of people noticed this, but like as soon as I started pointing it out to people, they're like, oh. And I'm like, bro, Adam Cole wasn't like really a star to any degree at all in Japan. So like,
yeah, like he would come out to like wrestle Kyle O'Reilly in the Tokyo Dome to absolute silence.
Yeah, so I feel like he's getting involved. Like Kenny's getting involved somewhere here. Jay White's music then plays. People pop for that as well. White's pretty well liked in America.
Yep.
He said,
and also he's on his best behavior in AEW.
Yes. He said it's fitting that he's here as, the last major New Japan event. He single-handedly sold out Madison Square Garden. He said for the Undisputed Era Undisputed Elite in the Bullet Club, it was still their era. Diogo makes a great point. Kyle O'Reilly was a bigger star than him in New Japan.
That's true, because he spent more time there. Yeah.
Yeah. MJ Does PR says Naito has definitely never heard of Adam Cole.
In kayfabe, yes, but he absolutely does know who the fuck Adam Cole is. Like you see him in the locker rooms, but yes, that's fucking hilarious. Yes, I hope.
Like, Naito doesn't recognize.
He should kayfabe that absolutely.
I don't know who none of y'all are. Like the only person I know is Kenny. Like that's it. Who the fuck are the rest of you?
Like who are these two? The Young Bucks.
You don't remember them? No,
they won the junior heavyweight titles like 7 fucking times.
No, I can't really? About that. I was on at the end of the show.
Be like really? You were on those same shows with them. Really?
Slipped by me.
Huh? Must have missed it. It's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Jay White, who is that? You wrestled him last year.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Dylan Naito's like the Snoop Dogg clip. Who?
Yes. Like dismissive Naito is great. Like we give Naito a lot of shit, but like dismissive Naito is damn good.
Yo, Jay was backstage with Red Velvet, Kiera Hogan, and Mark Sterling. And I gotta say, man, the baddie section is won me over. I wasn't fighting to be won over. I wasn't really giving much resistance or anything, but I like the trio of Jade, Velvet, and Kiera.
Yeah, this started last week with them showing up to the baddie section, right?
Yeah, they were in the Marina Shafir match in New Orleans.
Right. So I don't recall them ever explaining like how Red Velvet and Jay squashed the beef, but I do like them three together. Like if you can make it into a faction or whatever else, cool. And call them the baddies, fine by me. It'll sell. Look, that merch will sell. That merch will sell.
It fits.
And it'll sell to non-wrestling fans. You can put that shit in. You can put that shit in a hot topic. The baddies or whatever you fucking do. Yeah.
You want to talk about casuals? All right. So they said if Marina's the problem, Cargill's the problem solver.
Hey man. Yeah. Just to go back, like, can Tony like pay the rights fee to play that sweetie in Doja Cat when they come down to the ring? Because that shit will sound off. If this actually is what they gonna do, that would all go. That would all go.
So like I think the thing like Red Velvet, obviously she had got booed against Will Nightingale. She kind of like leaned into it when she was wrestling.
Yep.
So the next time she showed up, she was just bad. She was with Jade, and they didn't ever really explain it. But I feel like I watched the people turn on her, so it's good enough for me. So
and also it's like she was a babyface when like it was still the American or the Nightmare team, and like that shit's no more seemingly.
Yep. So needs something for her to do. Then we got Wardlow and the Butcher, and I thought it would be better.
Yeah, it felt like the crowd was more or less just waiting for the power bombs to ensue. Like they almost like they didn't want a competitive match. They just want Wardlow just to
kill him,
just crush stars. So it was okay. I gave it 2.5 stars, but like once he gave Wardlow that power bomb, and then Wardlow got his ass up and then returned favor, and that crowd, man. That crowd fucking loves Wardlow. It's gonna be great when he gets his hands on MJF. It's gonna be great. Like I think MJF should win the first match, but still, just this idea that the match is gonna happen, and then he gonna have to see him after all these years at this point. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But I go on Twitter and I see people say that like ain't no stories here. Apparently.
Oh yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah. Funny how that works. Then Eddie Kingston addressed Daniel Garcia, a man who he has wrestled before and has been in a long-running beef with, who he's going to fight on Rampage. He said their stablemates won't be allowed in the arena. Why? Because there's been several attacks backstage, in the ring, out the ring, with weapons, without weapons, storytelling.
Yeah.
He told Jericho that everything he does to Garcia would be done to him later on. And they set that up for Rampage. We had Kyle O'Reilly and Jungle Boy, and this was just okay. This was like, I thought it would be better.
I thought the crowd sucked for it, but like the work was, I wouldn't say excellent, but it was damn good. What did I give this? Like I thought, like this is like the match that Jungle Boy is going to have if he's going to be a singles type wrestler on his own. Like this is like the kind of match you expect him to have in a TNT type of situation. Like I think the crowd like was ice cold for O'Reilly, and I think they played a factor into it. I also think they were kind of confused that he won. To be honest with you, but like the work in that match was damn good. Like what did I give this fucking match? I gave it 3 3/4. Like that, like the crowd wasn't into it. Absolutely wasn't into it. But I'm watching the match. I'm just like, all right, I don't know what to tell you. They're like, this is some good ass wrestling. I don't know. I
don't think O'Reilly's finishing. His moves weren't established really. I feel like, and it just
was his first singles match.
I think it was,
or maybe his second.
I think it was his first singles match.
Yeah.
But I mean, the more O'Reilly gets in there, the more familiar that stuff will get. So
yeah, and like he's a fucking surgeon. Like Tammy's good. But yeah, like Jungle Boy, him and Jungle Boy, like this was I wouldn't say it's a real man's match, but it's more like a real technician's match. Like to show him, or kind of like, what can Jungle Boy look like when he's in his 30s and he's Jack Perry instead of Jungle Boy, right? Like, what could he look like when he's not going to be around on that flying because, he has some aches and pains getting up out of bed. And, like, I thought, like, if this is what it's going to look like, he's still going to be fucking good without all the flying and lucha stuff he already does. He's going to be good regardless because he's technically really good already.
Yeah, after that, Christian Head came out and him and Jungle Boy talked stuff out. We had MJF backstage with Spears. He repeated that he was a snake, and Spears produced another envelope, and then this time he gave it to Jake the Snake Roberts, who we haven't seen in a long time. Jake cuts a promo, and then all of a sudden Lance Archer comes in, slaps the money away, says all he wants to do is fight Wardlow, and then it's time for Lance Archer to step in, step into Wardlow's world, After that, we had Hook. He defeated Anthony Henry. He did like a little ankle pick, single leg crab. I showed Tony Nese and Mark Sterling watching him, so I got to think that's being built up for the UBS Arena May 11th. If I had to guess, that's in Long Island. That's where Nese and I believe Hook's from. I don't know where Hook's from exactly, but he's from around there.
Yeah.
So they set it all up. Danhausen was ringside. He tried to curse Hook, but Hook just stared at him, and then he locked in his submission for the win. After the match, Danhausen said that he had it with Hook, and then now they have to fight, essentially. Hook ignored him and walked to the back. Crowd went apeshit for this.
Yeah. Yeah, and at least like now we see why this is all happening. It came to a point. I thought Danhausen was still fucked up with his legs. He broke his leg in last year. So I didn't know he, obviously it's been a minute, but I didn't know how much time. I hadn't really considered how much time had actually passed. So I don't think they're going to have some real match. I think they're going to have a bit of a comedy thing where Hook still squashes him. But yeah, like it'll be effective because like they're both massively over. They're both massively over. Yeah. And like in front of live crowds, like it's undeniable. I can't, I didn't like those segments, but like they're in front of that crowd and, last week and it's like, well, gotta shut the fuck up. I'm just wrong. Like, I don't like the segments, but like the crowd loves it, so I'm just wrong. It is what it is.
Yeah. Then we had
boy.
You alarmed me for a second.
Bro, Brandon Ingram almost bammed on DeAndre Ayton. So
what's the score?
Halftime Phoenix by 13.
Okay.
Chris Paul and Brandon Ingram both like balling in the first half, so
good for Ingram. Frankie Kazarian was going to call out Sammy backstage, but then Scorpio interrupted him. Haven't seen those two together in quite a while. He said all of his accomplishments wouldn't have been possible without Kazarian essentially cementing the Scorpio Sky babyface turn, along with like Men of the Year. Man, I love competence, James. And he said he just wanted to ask Kazarian to do him a solid. He said he'll give you the shot after he wins it back. But Kazarian said he'll always have Scorpio Sky's back. They aired a video for Thunder Rosa. She said she's going to continue to fight the best that AEW has to offer, or she's going to I think she said something about she'll get on a plane and fight or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, she mentioned that she'll get on the plane, and I thought to myself, if you
look, Forbidden Door.
I mean, yeah, but there's and then there's also like Forbidden Door, and also people that she's worked with before. Like, it ain't none for her to like work with like Dumaki Ito again. From working off their 2020 stuff that got cut kind of short because of the pandemic, and like Ito's a lot better now.
So after that, we got the Scorpio Sky and Sammy Guevara in the promo segment. Sammy and Ty Conti were in the ring. Sammy said he's happy to be a 3-time champion. And anyone who doesn't like him and Conti, be mad. He said, I see, those of you guys that are happy for me, I appreciate you guys. But to the rest of you, and then like he essentially leans in, and then the babyface American Top Team comes out. Which is just incredible in so many aspects. I can't believe Dan Lambert has taught himself into babyfacedom.
We've been talking about the sliding that Sammy and Ty got, and wondered like compared that to what Cody and Brandy were to do, and all the talk about like how he never wanted to turn heel, and it's like you look at what's happening here, and it's like, well, if he didn't want to turn heel, then what the fuck? But now that Sammy don't care about that shit, and it's Sammy, like this was perfect, and this is the right time to do it after what happened the week before, and we talked about it, and we were like, they gotta turn heel, and right on it. Literally the next week they did it. Literally next week.
I love competence.
Yeah.
It literally just vindicates us once again for another victory, like Big Daddy Kane says. Another victory.
Oh my god! It vindicates us, not Tony Khan, the Booker. Us, the people that watch the Booker.
You know, One Nation Radio, right here. These guys.
Oh man.
But yeah, they basically said nobody came to see Sammy talking to a microphone. The only reason we're not attacking Sammy is for Lambert. Tonight, he's all business. Lambert demanded that Sky get a rematch. Sammy said that Sky can get his match if you give Ty and Sammy what they want, which is a mixed tag match. And then he said, "Oh, by the way, it's gonna be a ladder match." And then let's go.
This next week or this week?
This week. Yep.
Okay.
So, I was like, the last time Sammy Guevara was in a ladder match,
4.5.
The person he beat was never seen again. So I'm concerned for Scorpio Sky. You know.
So Lambert said something along the line. He made a game bang joke or whatever else.
He said, "Give you the pounding that your girlfriend's dreaming of."
Yeah. So
implying that Sammy could not do that pounding himself.
Yeah. So obviously that's problematic, right? This is gonna work.
I know.
Lambert as a babyface is going to work.
Remember, you heard it here.
It's going to work.
And the groundwork has been laid for this the whole time. The whole time it's been, okay, he's been cutting, like he's almost been in this role where he says all these things, but everybody knows Dan Lambert behind the scenes, like, is this huge fan, is this guy that like has all this, like, you know, he's a huge belt collector, he's a belt mark. And he knows all the stuff to say, essentially, but like now all he has to do is let everyone join in on the joke with him. This was going to happen. I don't know how we didn't like necessarily say he's going to be a babyface one day, because like I think people assumed the audience is I hate to say it like this, they were more woke than, you know, whatever, because a lot of Lambert's lingo slid through, like, you know, he was doing some dog whistling with some of his stuff in the beginning, but some of that stuff resonates with people, which could lead to a babyface reaction too, because like the what I'm saying is the crowd is not like it's not one way or the other. I feel like in that retrospect, like, and
you know, we mentioned last week at Missions, like he's been going up against some babyface that you can just, you know, give it to. And it was like, well, at what point is this going to be like a hindrance to the show? And then like come to find out, it's like whether either all along or making the change right here, we ain't got to worry about that no more. Like now these people that he was shitting on are heels. So
man, we have to have him and MJF go at it.
Oh my god! I thought all along that like it was gonna lead to like American Top Team in it, plus the Pinnacle was gonna like link up to it, into an axis of evil. But now, like, let MJF like strap him a couple times with a belt after, you know, they've gone at it on promos like 2-3 times, and MJF's had enough of that shit. Like that'll be great. That'll be great TV. It really would. They kill each other on the mic.
Yeah. Like Lambert be talking about, you're nothing but like he'll say like he'll basically do what CM Punk did, but like he'll say like, yo, instead of like
you're Lawler and 70 fill in the blank,
exactly.
You're Lawler and 70 fill in the blank. You're Bob Winkle here. You're Pat Patterson here. He would just point out all the shit that he did and whatever else. Like, oh, you fake ass Jack, and then you're doing a Fargo strut. Fuck you. Like he was just.
I watched Jackie Fargo. You're no Jackie Fargo.
Yeah, like you be like, look, man, you watch that shit on tape. I watch that shit on TV.
I live that life. This is my life. You talking, I live it. Oh my god. Oh, I didn't know there was this much entertainment to be found in this episode.
I mean, neither did I, really.
So House of Black promo aired. As soon as Malachi Black comes on the screen, I'll be like,
I get it.
I don't know, bro. You got it, bro.
Look, I get it. At the same time, you love Jay the Snake, and Jay the Snake was doing the same shit he be doing the same shit, talking in poetry. And like, I remember before I saw the episode, you said like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But for me, by the time he got to the end of it, he said he talked about they say Icarus flew too close to the sun. Well, the sun. He said something along the lines like, "Well, I'm going to kill the sun, or the sun dies next week." I think he said next week the sun dies, and I was like, "The sun, Phoenix, Ray Phoenix, okay." Like I guess that means Ray Phoenix will be back next week.
Or is it Fuego del Sol?
Could be that. Could be Fuego del Sol as well, because Soul Sun as well. I figured he may have been done with Fuego because he's murdered him like 5 times already, seemingly.
All I know is like Fuego better call Sammy or something, but like I don't know if Sammy gonna help. Like like I feel like Fuego need to try to align, with Sammy and Tay, or else he gonna be out here getting his head kicked in by Malachi Black.
If you really want to submit how shitty Sammy is, he should have Sammy come out there to help him. Look at Brody King and be like, "Nah, bro, no. you got it. you got it. I'm out of here."
Like I'm going with Tay Conti. Holla.
Yeah.
Dylan says still better than Bray Wyatt promos. Correct.
They're definitely not taking up 20 minutes of time. Definitely.
Yeah, at least those are short.
And they're short and actually like they foreshadow every single thing he does. Actually, literally foreshadows what he does eventually. Like so, like. A lot of that Bray Wyatt was like, I don't know where he's going to go with this shit. No idea.
And JWPR says, Sammy Guevara can say, I'll pray for you, bro. Yo, I can't laugh as hard as I want to laugh right now, but... Yes.
I can't remember Buddy's name, but he's on TikTok and he basically does all these deals where he did one skit where he was like, he pretended like he grew up poor. He gets in the studio and spits his verse about how fucked up his life was, and then between each bar or whatever else, you got to go to the next thing, and then like people go in his ear, like the manager or whatever else, like, damn, bro, you had like that. Why you ain't tell us, bro? We would have helped you, And all of a sudden you hear his voice going like, shit, that was my cousin. Shit, that wasn't me. That was my cousin that broke as fuck. And then, so then like he keeps going nowhere bars like, damn, bro, I ain't realize you. Damn, really that bad. And then all of a sudden he goes like this, like praying hands, like. Like that shit right there, like, damn, I'll pray for you, bro.
Yes.
This shit right here. Good luck.
Diogo says Sammy needs to pull a last minute Ben Simmons. Oh man.
Out of there.
Like I think if somebody wanted to act like Ben Simmons, those would be great heel characteristics to pick up.
Speaking of Ben Simmons, when it comes to the clothes or whatever else, you saw what Sammy showed up wearing that crazy jacket.
That foolishness.
And I was like, yep, heel. Yep.
Yeah, foolishness. Like, look, and I told people if they don't be careful, like y'all gonna fuck around and push this man into superstardom. Like,
I think at the worst, we got ourselves a solid program for the mid card. At the worst.
Yep.
So,
and yeah, I would imagine that match is going to be excellent. In a way that their other two didn't hit because it was bogged down in title changes and distractions and
also
whatever.
Being, on a basic like an e-show.
So we had
give it a good effort. No.
We had I was gonna say something else, but I'm not gonna say that. We had an Owen Hart qualifier match. We had Dr. Britt Baker defeating Danielle Camella. She looks familiar. She was in NXT. And I was always the former Vanessa Bourne. So
you used to be what, Rich?
I used to be a big fan of Vanessa Bourne's back in the day. They had Britt come out with some players that I didn't recognize from the Steelers, and they showed Britt like kicking it around there. They were blasting Britt on all the social media with the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, and it's Britsburg, and all that stuff.
Yep. So, basically, it was Najee Harris, who was one of the million NFL running backs out of Alabama. that have made it over the last like 7 years, but or really 12 years. But I can't remember who the other guy was, but yeah, it was Najee Harris was one of them. And then like for the glove, it wasn't like some or sequin thing. It was actually like an NFL receiver glove with the Steeler logo on the handprint, and gave her the lockjaw, got the win. It's a mediocre match.
There's not really much, no drama really.
Yeah. Gave it like 2.25. I gave it 2.25.
And then like Britt gets on the mic, and like after she hasn't been on the show since she's lost the title, she was like exhausted. Like she was like sucking wind, oxygen deprivation for the first 5 rows, all that shit. And while she was like trying to run down different members of the division,
doing insult comedy while huffing and puffing.
Yeah, so she called out Ruby Soho, Tony Storm, Jade, and the baddies, and then she said she was going to win the Owen Hart Foundation Cup, and this was not Britt's shining moment.
Yeah, because it's like, it's almost like a new lease on life. You can finally be a babyface. And she goes right back to the thing of like insulting everybody now. So I don't know if it was with the out of breath thing, and then like this could be the time where you just turn her all the way babyface. Like it almost felt like it was a wrong note for her in this given moment, but we'll see where it goes.
Then they played a promo for Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida. Oh, what's that? Another like story with like women that's gotten time and a bunch of great matches. And never mind. They're doing a Philly street fight next week. So I assume Serena Deeb is bringing the chairs, and Hikaru Shida will bring the kendo sticks. And I would think the winner is going to probably fight Thunder Rosa at the pay-per-view, if I had to guess. And I would think that would be Serena, but we'll see. Then we got the Rampage lineup, of course. Cole and Ishii, Swerve and Lee with an interview, Jade and Marina Shafir, Lance Archer, Serpentico, Eddie Kingston, and Daniel Garcia. And then they did an interview with some of the Owen Hart women's qualifiers. They announced next week's Dynamite. Carl Shida versus Serena Deeb, Wardlow versus Lance Archer, Dax Harwood versus Cash Wheeler, Sammy Guevara in the TNT Championship match in a ladder match versus Scorpio Sky, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks and Red Dragon versus Varsity Blondes, Dante Martin, Lee Johnson, and Brock Anderson. Be there.
He still didn't say that shit even like 70% as fast as
my shit's now chopped and screwed compared to Excalibur, bitch.
Yeah, that man, machine gun. Like the only person that can come out here and do that shit faster is Bone Thugs and Twista. Like
Excalibur sound like a strip club DJ, bitch.
Move on. Just move on.
Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler quickly next week. I think a lot of people going crazy. Like this is going to be the Super Bowl of Bret Hart references, and Owen Hart. People think they're going to just wrestle Bret Hart versus Owen Hart beat for beat in the ring. So should be interesting. I like these. I do like the fact that they did this like in a tournament format. You'll see matches you'll never see. Like you'll have partners compete with each other. So let's just see if it's better than BTE 200. So then we had the main event, the coffin match, Darby Allin defeating Andrade El Idolo. And this was cool. I don't think it was on the level of the Ethan Page match.
It wasn't.
But
do you
it
feel
was
like
cool.
they were rushed? Because I thought that's what I thought. I was like,
I think
are they short on time?
They didn't get started till like 9:46, if I'm not mistaken. And it felt like they were a little behind. And then they had a lot of stuff to get in there as far as the run-ins and everything like that. And it was good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, I really liked it, but I was like, it's not. It's just not what's it called. It was not the Ethan Page match that you said. It definitely wasn't. I had higher expectation based off of the singles match they had a few weeks ago. So I was disappointed. Still a very good match, but it's like they feel like they were just rushed for time, and I didn't know what to I don't even know I had a grade for it, but it would have been somewhere like the mid threes.
Yeah, they had Jose take the tacks on the inside of the lid, a bunch of shit. So they had the Hardys celebrating with Sting and Darby to end it. But
I mean, they came out to celebrate, but they were on the top of the ramp while Darby and Sting were in the ring. I was like, oh, they definitely rushed for time. Like this cements it.
Sting, of course, disguised himself as Sting once again. In the match, and it was just awesome.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So we had Rampage. We had Adam Cole versus Tomohiro Ishii. I was shocked this match happened. I was like, I didn't expect to be watching this on Friday. I thought it was pretty good. Like, I didn't think it was a super match or anything, but I thought it was like, I thought the crowd got into it.
Word is he's both this match and the Garcia Kingston match were both heavily edited and have chunks of time just missing out of both of them.
Okay, that would make sense because the reports I got were that Cole and Ishii was incredible, and then what I saw on TV was like, oh, that was pretty good.
Right.
Like I felt like there was something like missing in the Cole match. I don't know what, but the other one definitely felt like it was cut, like there was time cut from it. But yeah, I don't know. Like this was, I wish Ishii would have won.
Yeah. Okay, so I thought the match was very good. If I thought it was very good, I think that like for the second time in, I thought Ishii was like more over than he was the first time. Where like he had that first match and like he had to in the middle of the match had to prove himself to get over, which is like ain't no problem for him. But it was interesting to know that like he wasn't really as known of a commodity as you would think with how many people actually were converted from or started in New Japan to come over to AEW as fans. But this match, he came out, he was over, and he was more over throughout the whole match. But the match was going at a certain point, and then Adam Cole finish. Like at this point, like the low blow belongs to him. Like he is from the throne. Like he is ascended from the throne to Ric Flair. Like I think like either 4 or 5 times this year alone he has won a match immediately with the boom after low blowing somebody. I think I'd have to hold on. Let me type it into my into the search function. Let's see AEW. Let's see. Control F for find. Low blow. Okay, low blow pops up 5 times. Adam Cole's name is here out of the 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 times with low blow finishes, he's been responsible for them. And the other one was Guevara the other week during the double turn. So yeah, that's the Adam Cole finish. Low blow, and then knee you in the back of your dome.
Archer kills Serpentico. Don't really have much on that. Eddie Kingston and Daniel Garcia. I kind of like this one a lot.
Yeah, I like
and Eddie got the win at the end. They fought each other pretty hard in this match, and it was like, I would say, check this one out if you didn't see Rampage.
Yeah, I like both of those matches. I just wouldn't give either one of them 4 stars.
Yeah.
All right, the Ishii match and this match as well.
Same. There was then we got Jade versus Marina in the main event, and I was expecting like a really bad match, and then it was fun. Like it was like, Jade Ultimate Command. I thought Marina looked better than she's almost ever looked in AEW, like aside from maybe her match with Statlander. Besides that, I think she was pretty rough. But I see like what they're going for with her. Like I see the presentation that they're trying with her. I think it's just going to take a lot to really get it over. But matches like these one, because she like listen to the music when she comes out. It's like it's
flat
completely
charisma,
plain,
just flat charisma or lack of charisma, and like if she's gonna get over, she have to get it over in the ring or with someone talking for her eventually, or her talking her own words, but like ain't enough done on that end.
Right. And Jade comes out. This is just an odd match, like as far as like alignment wise, because Marina Shafir is not necessarily like trying to get booed, but she's not trying to get cheered either. It's like she's just kind of there, and then Jade's like Jade at this point. Right. Like I don't think she's fitting into traditional like she has the baddies interfering from the crowd or whatever, but like You told me I was supposed to boo Jade. All right, how's that work? But I thought this overachieved.
Yeah, this is something you throw in like the low threes of 3 flat, 3 1/4. And you know, for Jade is I think it's Jade's best singles match. And I gotta say, like, as far as improvement from, you know, week to week, month to month, whatever else, I thought, like, when she was stuck in an Achilles lock, like, I thought it was the best I've ever seen her sell. And, like, that's the thing that's kind of, for me so far, has kind of been the thing that's kind of felt like was a limitation, was, like, her selling was not good. And it was still, you know, up and down in this match, but, like, seeing that was kind of like, okay, we're getting there slowly but surely, and once it gets there, and she can sell, she can already get, you know, she already has, like, you know, a lot of the holes and the moves, you know, enough moves down to have a good match. But like once this thing all comes together, she's gonna be really good. I think she's gonna be really good.
Dylan says Jade's anti-MMA campaign made her a face in my eyes. I agree. No one cares about the MMA shit. Same. That karate shit, all that shit that's related is like, nah, you know, get in here and do the wrestling. But that'll wrap it up for AEW. So, James, I guess there's only one thing left to do. That is hit the music.
All right, so last weekend there were 2 shows. There was a Saturday show and a Sunday show. Saturday's show was in Kobe, you know, notorious Dragon Gate country. So there was only like one spot in particular that stuck out to me as like particularly Dragon Gate-ish. But like outside of that, it's a pretty good Saturday show. The Sunday show is not up, so we're just talking about the Saturday show. Saturday show ended up having, let me click over to the Stardom section on here. Opening up with a 3-way match between Lady C, Waka, and Young Miyu, and match is actually like not bad. You know, they worked the match more or less, you know, one person or 2 people in all time. Then they, you know, switch in and out of the ring. Ultimately, at the end, you end up getting Waka in there with Lady C. Waka has a story in place where Cosmic Angels, and I forgot to mention this last week, but Cosmic Angels and Waka, like, in all her matches, she gets pinned in all of her matches, and she's in there, she's getting closer and closer and closer, and they're giving her more kickouts at crucial moments, and it's coming. She's eventually going to win a match. It's very similar to like before Lady C got her first win in like November or October of last year, where it's like November. So it's like it's getting closer and closer and closer, and when she's in tags with Cosmic Angels, they're reaching a point of like she's on the apron, she's the only one on the apron before they go to the closing stretch in, you know, their tag match that they always have. And like, Tam, for example, like she's like, I'm damaged, I'm depleted. Should I tag her in? You know what? I'll tag her in. Tagged her in, and you know, she kicked out a bunch of stuff that she normally wouldn't kick out of, and then ultimately lost. And like, the story is like, are they going to have the patience and belief in her throughout this whole thing, or are they eventually going to be like, you know what, fuck this. You know, we don't trust you right now. You're going to have to, you know, rebuild or whatever else, or earn it a different way. But we're tired of fucking losing because you get pinned in every match. But that story will walk us right now. And it seems like she's getting closer and closer and closer. She almost had Lady C. Lady C ends up escaping out of a move and end up giving her like a lift choke slam for the win. Next match after that, singles match, Utami versus Roaka. Roaka is working over Utami, got her in the corner, hitting her with closed fist punches to the gut, working over her legs, and Utami basically gets up, and then they eventually just start shoulder tackling, and it's Roaka, but it's Utami, but Utami is so damaged that like she's fighting from underneath to just like, go toe to toe with shoulder tackles with her, with Big Roaka, and that was fun. And at the end, ultimately, Utami fucking second stage lifts her and then gives her a bridging German for a win. Like, god damn, she's strong. Next match after this, you end up getting Kamitani and Azumi versus Koguma and Kogo. And every so often when Kamitani and Koguma are in matches, and this is with a few people, but particularly with Kamitani, Koguma starts up the bear pose thing, and then like, are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? And then ultimately someone does it. Well, in the situation with Kamitani, she says, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. They start doing high speed spots, and at the end when they do like this standoff, at the end, Koguma does this, and she like reflexively, like almost like to block or whatever else, does this too, and then does the bear pose, and then like Kamitani makes this fucking face like she's mortified that she just did it, as if she did as if she just like committed a sin. It's funny every single time. From there, and this has been going on in a few matches of late. I'm skin almost bit the hell out of me just now, but they're putting Azumi and Kamitani together, and I think like they're building towards them being like tag title challengers eventually. Anyway, like throughout this match, they're doing these tag team spots where they're both sweeping legs, coming off the ropes, double drop kick. They both do springboard drop kicks coming into the ring. They pair off Kogo with Azumi, and that's really good. This is about the best I've ever seen Kogo. And like Azumi is just like, at this point, any match she's in is like 3 1/4 at worst at this point. Like she's no days off. Second match, third match, anywhere, like she's gonna have a good match. Period. It don't matter how much time you give her. Like the only way she's not gonna get to 3 stars at this point is if you give her like 2 minutes. Like that's about the only way you're gonna stop her. Ultimately at the end, Azumi ends up beating Kogo with a figure 4 German suplex. Like I'm trying to think who does that. Can't remember if it's Natsuki Taa or it's Risa Nakajima or both of them. Either way, whatever. Basically, it's like a leg capture deal where she like almost like, I'll send you the GIF. I can't explain it, but it's basically a German suplex. Well, she also has one of the person's feet basically like up in the air and like basically just Germans you back, bridges up and pins you. But next match after that, you get a Donado Mondo versus Oedo Tai Trios match. It's Julia, Tekla, and Mai Sakurai versus Momo, Kid, and Saki. And they did something in this match that like I've only ever seen them do like a handful of times. Where like, everybody wrestles each other and then they go down to the final stanza and then it's the final 2 and then the final 2 go for about X number of minutes before someone gets beat finally. Well, in this match, and also in a Cosmic Angel Stars match from a few weeks ago, where like Waka was in with Kogo and it looks like Waka's getting the first win. Mayu basically steals the tag in the last second and is like fucking destroys Waka and gets out of there with a win. In this match, it is Mai and I want to say it was Starlight Kid, and they're going at it back and forth. No, Tekla. It was Tekla and Kid, and they're going down to the stretch and final stanza, and then Saki steals the pin and then basically comes in and just immediately grabs Tekla and puts her in the fucking crucifix pin and gets the win. It was basically like, oh, they're going at it back and forth, and the last weekend they had a tag title match of Julia and Tekla versus
Sakiism.
Versus Kid and Momo that was damn good. And then it's like they're continuing on that story from the week before. And then like Saki just says, "Nah, we're not. Y'all just been wrestling each other, and so there might be a winner loser. Nope, come in here, flash pin your ass, get you out of here." So maybe Saki, gets a SWA title shot. We'll see. But match was very good. Second from the top, you end up getting God's Eye, Shuri, Mirai, and Ami versus Stars, Mayu, Hazuki, and Ida. As I said earlier, match starts with Mirai and Ida. They pick up where they left off in Sumo Hall. Big, strong, ass-beating wrestling. Then you end up getting... you get Ami in there with Hazuki, and that was interesting. They kept, for some reason, I wanted to see it, but they kept Hazuki and Shuri away from each other. I don't know what that was, but by the end, you end up with closing stretch. You end up with Mayu and Shuri in there, and they're always Dynamite in tags, they're always great in tags with each other. They beat the shit out of each other with kicks and dragon screw leg whips and all that kind of stuff, and just expert selling. So by the end of it, you end up with Ida in there with Shuri, and Ida's giving her some of that power, and she's selling, and Shuri's selling over like crazy for it. But before putting her away, she ends up making Ida tap with her basically like what she called it? I think she calls it a Suzaku. It's basically like that. It's almost like a disarmor with like a hammerlock on the other arm. So, okay. She used it's one of her 5 submission moves that she uses. So, the main event of this was the Dono Amando's Mai Himapoi, Micah, Himeka, and Natsupoi versus Cosmic Angels. This is their third.
Match.
Sorry?
Hell of a match.
Yeah, I agree. So. Just to rewind and give you the full story. As some of y'all know, Natsupoi showed up on the October 3rd, 2020 show. Natsupoi came from Tokyo Joshi Pro. Before that, she was in Actress Girls. In early, before Tam showed up in Stardom, she was in Actress Girls. Tam left. Natsupoi in kayfabe or in real life said she hated Tam's guts and she'll never forgive her. She ends up in, at that time, Julia and Tam was the big feud of the year in Stardom. They bring in Natsupoi and put her in Dono Del Mondo, and naturally they had their beef. Cosmic Angels won the trios titles late in 2020. And then they set the defense record over that time at 7 defenses, I believe. 7 defenses, yeah. So one of the defenses, I think it was a defense number to actually tie the record, was this same matchup. Mai Himapoi versus Cosmic Angels. They went to a 30-minute draw. That 30-minute draw was nothing like as close to as good as this match was. I don't think I gave it 3.5 stars. It was 30 minutes and I gave it like 3.25. I was disappointed in that match, to be honest with you. And then eventually, they got one more defense, and then the next defense, the second match between these two, Mai Himapoi got the win. So when they won, Natsupoi naturally took Tam's blue trios belt, and then Himeka took Mina's pink belt, and Micah took Unagi's orange belt. So before the bell rings, or as the bell rings, they start scrapping. They end up outside the ring. You see the two people that you see Micah with her orange belt predecessor Unagi, you see Himeka with her pink belt predecessor Mina, and then you see Natsupoi with her blue belt predecessor Tam, and they're scrapping it out, and then you end up with Unagi and Mike in the ring. And eventually it breaks down to where like Cosmic Angels gets the early advantage. You get the heat on Nasty Boy, builds towards a hot tag. Then eventually they get the heat. Mama Boy gets the momentum, and then they get the heat on Unagi. And it's all really good wrestling. There's one weird mix up that they made it almost seem like a work shoot like Noah thing at the beginning of the match between Unagi and Micah. But outside of that, like this match was just very good up and down, and filled his time really well. And then like basically like, I don't know, last 8 minutes, they just get to Tam and Natsupoi, and Tam and Natsupoi beat the ever loving shit out of each other.
Yeah, like I noticed that with Tam all match. Like everything she was doing with her kicks and her strikes with her hands. Like sometimes I see her stuff and I'm like, man, like this shit look. It like I don't like.
She doesn't hit like Mayu or like Shuri. Yeah,
yeah, and it's like she's doing like these glancing blows and like it's like over dramatized. It was like nah, not today. Like she was like she was like just kick like she did like a PK that was just like. I felt that shit like all the way over here in Florida.
Yeah. Before that, there was, she did the bicycle knee and she took Natsupai's fucking head off. And then like giving these big like swinging slaps at certain junctions of the match.
There was like a movie montage of like finishers like happening to people at the end of the match too. Like it was like, all right, each person would hit a move on one particular person. I'm like, and you think it's going to be the finish, but it's not. And then it goes Stardom finish.
Right. Earlier in the match, they're set up for the spot. Normally that is just between Himeka and Natsupoi, where Himeka gets someone in the corner, lifts him up, and then puts him in powerbomb position and holds him up, facing the opposite turnbuckle, opposite corner, and then like Natsupoi gets to the top rope, and they basically do like a diving crossbody powerbomb combination. This time they set up to do it with or to be a double powerbomb with Micah and Himeka holding up Tam. They thwart it, and then they get to close to the finish, and they actually get her up, and they do it, and ultimately like Tam could kick out. They had to save. They made the save to break it up, and then they go into all those kickouts that you talked about, and like I forgot what the last kickout was, but basically it was Natsupoi had the advantage. Tam just kicked out, and then Natsupoi, I think she kicked the shit out of her, and then Tam got up and like hit her with a head kick, and like and Natsupoi like collapsed, and then like Tam went to go try to make the cover, but like the bell rang before she made the cover, and like then they're basically on the ground, and like they grabbed each other by the hair, and they talked about like kind of full circle moment of what happened when when Cosmic Angels set the defense record by going to a 30-minute tie, and was like, there's no way you can be satisfied by this. Like, you set this tie, you tied the defense record, but you didn't win. Like, we gotta do this shit again. It was more or less the same gist of, now that Dominic Mondo are the trios champions, the same thing. And like, I think they're gonna have to do this again. Like, they went 30 minutes. And this was the best match of the 3 they've ever had. I think the second match that had the title change, I thought that was like a 3.5-ish type of thing. I'm trying to come up with reasons not to give this 4 stars.
I was like, probably like 4.25 on this. Okay. Maybe like 4 and like between almost to the 4.5, like in that middle or whatever. Like, but
it was so intense. Like the match was super intense.
Yeah. It was. I highly recommended. Like, check it out. Like, and I know it's a draw. I know it's 30 minutes, but like, it's worth it just to see that movie montage of moves that happens, to see Tam's physicality, and just to see like how hard everybody's working. Like, and like Michael looked great in this match too.
And like, a lot of Cosmic Angels defenses last year when they were the trios champs was like, It is get these two in here, or let Tam start the match, then get these other two in here, and then let Tam finish the match, and it's basically like throwing Cameron at the end of the record to save the record. And like this match was not that. Like they basically said, like Tam was in there like for a short stretch in the middle of the match, and like it was basically like Unagi, Mina, y'all have grown over the last year and change, whatever else. Y'all are a tag team that are now like, I think they're going to be on either a Diana show. They're going to a Pro Wrestling Diana show, and they're going to have a match. Like we're trusting y'all to be able to, do this without Tam holding y'all hand now. And they've improved to that point to where they deserve that kind of slack. But like, it was kind of like that same formula, except they didn't need that level of help. And then Tam still came with it anyway. And it was like, God damn, this match was just good for 30 minutes of just excellent wrestling and, of traditional wrestling. It was not like some, between these six, Natsuko was the only person that's some super flashy wrestler. Well, I mean, you could say Tam with some of the acrobatic stuff or ballet-esque type stuff she does or whatever else. But like, this was just like two teams of six people, or two teams of three people each, and they just like, they didn't like each other, and they just ran it, and they got heat on each other at different points, and like the pretty girls getting heat on the big giants, and they brought it back and forth in like 30 minutes. Like the two big, people that had the most heat with each other, like beat the shit out of each other for like the last 8 minutes of the match, and it closed out. I was like, God damn, this match was good.
I may have said this joke before, but my Himapoi looks like Natsupoi is the older sister with the younger, big, tall sisters or whatever. Like
she is like low key the leader of them three. She is like
she's like those are my like Natsupoi is our big sister or whatever, but we just big. I get that vibe from them.
Yeah. So after the match, after they said what they said about like we kind of have to do this again. Oedo Tai pulls up. It's the same team that won earlier in the show. It's Momo, it's Kid, it's Saki, and they're the next challengers. They also pointed out that like Starlight Kid was one of the defenses for Down on the Mountain earlier when it was her versus like her with Roaka and Rina, and she didn't say like I was with jobbers, but she was like, I'm with a different team. I don't care. So what? Like they're okay with it. So you're trying to start some shit. It ain't gonna work. They're okay with this. So that'll be a good match. And that's pretty much it for last weekend. That's actually up. Next weekend is pay-per-view. It's Cinderella Tournament final. So I did not have enough time to see the translation of the press conference. I watched it while I was doing something else. It had it up and saw some of the stuff that happened, like during the Shuri red belt section of it. Like Himeka said something along the line. I don't know what the fuck she said, but like there was a kiss between Himeka and Shuri,
yes.
And after the kiss, like Shuri didn't back away or none of that. She was just like, okay. And then like Himeka like made some reference to her lips in the belt and then walked away, and then Shuri like looked at her and smiled. It was like, these mind games ain't gonna work with me. I'm finna beat your big ass when the time comes. I'm finna whoop a giant. I don't give a good goddamn about that kiss. So like I think that match is gonna be really good. And also like if you wanna be funny, like anytime there's a kiss involving Shuri, it's been in Stardom, has been a classic match to follow it. So like last time that happened was what led to that Utami and Shuri match from last year. So get your tape decks ready.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna have a really good match. Also on this card is high speed match Azumi versus Mei Suruga.
That's right.
Yes. So after Mei Suruga had won that battle royal in Sumo Hall, she came out after Azumi's defense for the against Natsupoi and Kaguma, and said, "I want a shot." And Azumi said, "Let's do it." Now, I've seen them wrestle each other before in a 3-way match with Kaio Kobayashi in that was on Kagetsu's like produce show to retire, her retirement show, and like they have good chemistry together. So like go ahead and put the pencil in the 3.5 or whatever else, and like if they got more, great. But like you're going to get a good match, a very good match at least. Also on this show is future belt match. It is Hanan versus Rina. I'm sorry, Hanan versus Hina, the other Hanan twin. That match should be good. I think Hina's wrestled like once or twice since returning back since she got into high school. So, it's Hanan. Put the threes up, right? Yeah. I think she retains. I think they're kind of setting this up for like Ami to be the one to take the belt off of her, and Ami gonna beat her in devastating fashion.
Hannah will walk into Impact Wrestling right now. Oh, never mind.
Oh man.
I ain't even gonna do it. It's late.
Oh man. Okay, so pre-show match is gonna be dark. Yeah, pre-show match is gonna be Waka and Ami and Mai, and like that's why I think it's setting up for Ami to pin Waka and then like say, hey, I've been here for like a month. I've been out here beating all sorts of ass and going into draws with people. I ain't lost yet. Let me fight for that Hanan, and I would suggest Hanan to say no. but she's a babyface. She's not. So I think that's all going to happen. I think that's what this pre-show match is setting up. And before we get to, because we talked about every match except for the semifinals and then obviously the final after that. But with everybody else is going to be a Gauntlet Trios match. So it is the teams of Mayu, Ida, and Kogo. That's team 1. Team 2 is Tam, Mina, and Unagi. These aren't the order. This is just like I'm just saying the teams. Team 3 is Utami, Kamatani, and Lady C. Team 5 is Julia, Micah, and Tekla. Team 6 is Momo, Kid, and Rawaka. And Team 7 is Saki, Death, and Rina. Don't know the order that the Gauntlet match is in, but the match is going to go pretty long to fill time to get everybody in the ring and everybody here's their thing. Like there's going to be a lot more time given to this match than like the Gauntlet match from the first night of Sumo Hall last month, I believe. But no idea who wins, but should be fun. And then the semifinals of the Cinderella Tournament. First one, Mirai versus Natsupoi. I almost feel like Natsupoi has to win this match. I don't know. But like, given that she beat Starlight Kid, is like if she beat Starlight Kid, and then after what you hear about the word in the Observer last week that like they were going to have Unagi in this spot, Unagi's going to beat Natsupoi, and then like Bushiro said no. I imagine like they want almost like a guarantee they're going to get a fire match in the main event and also the semi-main event. So like I don't doubt Mirai, but Natsupoi just more advanced in this stage in her career. So I can see her just in the final. Like either way, I'm good. Like the only person it's not that I don't want to see them, they'll do fine, but like the person I at least want to see out of these 4 in this final would be Kaguma. But yeah, no shade to Kaguma because Kaguma can go, but just like I have doubts that they'll actually push her. So like if you put her in the final, then it's like I feel like you almost telegraph who's in the final. But maybe I'm thinking maybe it'll all be changed if she shows up in some new gear.
Yeah,
we gotta be on new gear watch for her this coming weekend. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Mirai versus Natsupoi?
It can go either way. Mirai doesn't disappoint. Everything that I've seen from her is impressive, and it's like she's fighting for real estate, and she's like, why? Like, she has a real "why not me" quality about her. So, I don't know. I'll take Mirai.
Okay. And then, as you mentioned just a second ago, Hazuki versus Kaguma. It's either way. If Kaguma were to win, it would be telling a great story. Like, you go back to Hazuki coming back in Osaka-jo Hall on October 9th last year, and she came back to face Kaguma, and the story they played off of like these two were in the dorms together, and they both like left before high school to be in Stardom, and then they both retire early, and Kaguma comes back, and Hazuki comes back, and she probably doesn't come back if Kaguma doesn't come back. Kaguma probably doesn't come back if Hazuki didn't retire in 2019. And to see, like, at that retirement, like, how all the tears in Kaguma's eyes as Hazuki was hanging it up. Like, so it's a really neat story. And then, they win Tag League. They become the tag champions. And now, like, one of them is going to the Cinderella final. Like, that it's been an awesome story. The last 7 months or whatever it's been, half a year or whatever. So whatever they do, like they're gonna have a good match. Like Hazuki's first match back, they had like a 3 3/4 star match. Like, I feel like they can top this. They're both better now, or there's less rust on them. So I think they'll do great. But I'm going with Hazuki. I'm the only person with like any kind of stakes in this left. Like I had Hazuki versus Starlight Kid in my final. So like I'll stick with Hazuki. I had Starlight Kid to win, but I had a finalist. I'll go with my finalist.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the match?
They have. This is a cool match. Like they've been teaming together. I would probably go with Hazuki because it will even it out. I think there would be excitement seeing Hazuki in the final. I think the match with her and Mirai, my other pick, would be interesting to say the least. And say it's Natsupoi, then it's like, oh yeah, we're getting some crazy shit. I think Hazuki gives us the better match in the final.
Yeah, same here. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is ultimately is said and done? Who's going to have the dress and all that kind of stuff?
I'm going to go with Mirai. I know she has got a title shot before, but it's not necessarily for the red belt. It could be for the white belt. So
it could be, yeah.
I'm going to pick Mirai.
Okay.
They had to do like a real tough looking dress for Mirai.
A tough looking blue dress, huh? Okay. So I had Hazuki as a finalist. I would have put Natsupoi to be higher, but she was in the first round with Kid, so I was like, fuck, well, I had Kid as my pick. And then when she won, I was like, all right, well, cool, because, like, she just fill in the same slot, like, and ultimately ended up working out that way where, I think they're going to get Hazuki and Natsupoi in the final. I want to say after the February pay-per-view when, you had the Starlight Kid and Azumi match, and the main event was Poi versus Kamatani, we were just like, I remember at the end I was saying, like, what does this woman have to do to get a fucking push? As like to be a red belt or white belt champion, or a second or secondary or main champion in any judge program she's been in, like, because I think that highly of her. And then you see the match she had this weekend with in that trios match, that closing stretch, and it's like, that's what I'm talking about. And like, I won't be mad if any of these four win. But I will be particularly happy if I get Hazuki versus Natsupoi, if Natsupoi, or I'll be over the moon if either one of them win. But like, after the way I've been basically campaigning and pushing this Natsupoi agenda, yeah, man, we pushing Poi over here. That's what we doing. We pushing Poi. So that's what I would like to see. I don't think there's really a bad answer for any of these, but like, if, you know, she wins Cinderella and then she were to become the next white belt champion at some point over the next year or in 2022, like, I think that'd be, you know, it's kind of like what we did with, or not we, that's kind of what they did with, you know, Kamitani. So yeah, that's kind of what I would like to see the most. So, yeah, that's the end of the show, I think. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
One question for you, James.
Yeah.
Is Ja Morant the greatest dreadlock NBA player of all time?
Do we count the little small twist on people that have hair like this long?
No.
Okay.
You got to have Bates.
Okay, let's say maybe
real
like
ones.
Dwayne Wade. Maybe Dwayne Wade, but well, he has double twists, so I don't know if those are a lot though.
Okay.
Like, do we include the double twist in the discussion of that? Because then it turns to like
sure.
an RG3 conversation from like 2012. I don't know.
Those are braids. Oh well, I don't know. Like
double twist ain't dreads.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It's. I mean, they can be dreads if you just like say I'm thugging them out for until the end. But
I don't know. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they double twist.
It was dated.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, for now, I guess she's got to stick. You know, maybe you should just go to dreads. You know, because like, if not, then I guess like, wouldn't Jay Crowder be in like the top 10?
Oh my god, I don't even want to think about this anymore. Like, yikes!
Oh man, that's it of the show. Thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this with.
Hit us on the damn. Hit us on the donations.
Yes, donations. We're going to update this donation talk now. Hit us on the PayPal. Hit us on the Cash app. Go to the Rail Circle, so drop us off with a donation if you're listening. And if you listen on live stream, drop us off with the bits. I've seen some bits go up in here.
I've seen the sub. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna have to look in the back end. I'm figuring this out.
We don't know what any of this means, but just send it.
Yep, send it. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah. And be sure
draft the talent, and then we figure out what to do with it.
Yeah. I've actually been doing that in that draft, the MOP draft. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. On Tuesdays, you have Keepin It Strong Style. On Wednesdays, you have the Ricky Clive Wrestling Show. Every other Wednesday, you have Norman Watch This Shit. On Thursdays, you have the Grave Consequences podcast. On not every other Thursday. That makes no sense. We never had anything like that. But on Fridays, we have 8-Bit Suplex. I forgot the other days, but you have Keepin It Strong Style, you have Great Match Generator, and you have AEW Match Guide. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.
Hello, this is Discover, and we take customer service very seriously. We know that if you have a question or concern about your credit card, that's a serious matter, and you need to talk to a real person about it. So we offer around-the-clock access to seriously talented representatives in the USA. Again, it's a serious endeavor. The only funny thing about it is Bob. If you call us and Bob answers, you're in for a treat. Get 100% US-based customer service and talk to a real person day or night. Discover. Exceptionally common sense.
Underdog Fantasy is the fastest growing fantasy app and easiest place to play fantasy sports. Just jump on UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app, draft your team, and that's it. And if drafts aren't your thing, they also have a pick'em game where you can win 20 times your money in a single night. Use promo code RADIO, and Underdog will double your first deposit when you sign up with up to $100 in bonus cash. Deposit $100, get $100 free. That's promo code RADIO. Terms and conditions apply.